We welcome everybody back to a wonderful edition of the Hard Count. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. And speaking of that, CJ, my guy, how was yours?
Thanksgiving was great, man. A lot of good eats. Ate swell. I know Judon was like, he don't like mac and cheese, man. He's bugging, man. Mac and cheese hit the spot on Thursday. Some nice turkey stuffing, man. It was good. And then the leftover Fridays always slaps too, man. Good weekend for the kid.
Now, CJ, I have a very important question. What are your thoughts on turkey? One. And second, I need to know what your favorite dish is.
If it's made right, sometimes turkey could be kind of dry. But this Thanksgiving, the kid was blessed. Definitely hit the spot. Wasn't too dry. My favorite dish. You're asking the wrong guy, man. My plate be full, bro.
No, CJ. I'm not letting you out of this. There's got to be one that you're like, you know what, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's mac and cheese. A lot of times, if I'm going to my godmother's crib, it's lasagna. The lasagna be slapping.
Nice little lasagna, okay.
The rice and beans. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with lasagna with the rice and beans.
All right, we love that. People over there on the color cast, we're getting my boy CJ in here real quick. We're all waiting to set up. But for the people watching us on, the YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all that. Oh, you know what? That's a good reminder. I gotta lower my volume before you get in here.
Yes, sir.
Make sure. Oh, there is CJ. Invite to co-cast. Here we go, baby. We can get the show rocking now. There he is.
Color cast, what's going on, guys?
Oh, my volume be going way back up. Come on, son. What are we doing here? I guess I got to turn it down on the actual volume. It's all right. We got the chat popping off already. Hey, boys, we got Mark with the go emoji. Listen, Mark, I don't like to toot the own horn or anything, but, I feel it. This is a fantastic show. CJ?
Perry, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Exactly. What's going on, Perry? Listen, we're multitasking here, people. We got the color cast up. We got the Facebook, YouTube, live stream, Twitch, everything going on. So if we missed something, don't worry. We're going to go back and find it. So we love it. We absolutely love it. But with that being said, CJ, you want to jump on in? Would you like to jump into the football?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. And you know what? We're going to start it off with the this time I got it. The Monday night game, not the Sunday one. I always try it. I'm almost there all the time. But we are going to start it off with the Monday night game. Of course, as Perry says here in the color cast, let's go, boys. Hard count on every Tuesday, not Thursday. Perry, come on. But it's all right. Everybody makes mistakes. Shout out Hannah Montana. She said it the best. But with that being said, we'll get into the football. We have Washington with a 17-15 victory. And CJ, I don't know how you feel about this game, but I take two major things out of this, right? Mark, already in the color cast with the Niners. Let's go. The boys are hot. We're going to get to that, Mark. You got to stick around. We got to stick around. But what I take away from this game is, ready? Two things. Taylor Heinicke is going to be relevant in the NFL for a long time. Now, is that going to be as a starter for his entire career? Well, let me tell you something. I don't know. But Taylor Heinicke does enough every single week to prove that he can play in the NFL. And listen, a lot of people can't. I've already got Jimmy up over here in the comments on YouTube. Heinicke doesn't get the credit he deserves. Exactly. Listen, and they talked about on the countdown too that diving, play right into the end zone was kind of his big moment in the playoffs against the Bucs last year. But listen, they brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick to be the starter this year. Obviously, I think it was like the first quarter, he ends up getting injured. So that obviously doesn't work out. Taylor Heinicke comes back in, reclaims the throne, and he's played all right. Like, he has his moments where you're like, damn, why wasn't he why wasn't he in the NFL before? Because you remember he came over, I believe, from the XFL, if I'm not mistaken, or the AFL, one of those. He has those moments of why wasn't he a starter before, and then there's the other moments where it's kind of like, why are you starting in a game right now? But that's kind of what you are when you're a mid-level quarterback. And I think he's always going to do enough to have a job. I don't think he's going to ever be able to carry a team to a Super Bowl. I think everything would have to be 100%, correct for them. But I think he's going to be in the league for a long time. So I take that away from the Washington side. Obviously, a nice win, too. Did you know that they're in a wild card spot now?
Yes, sir. Seven spot, right?
5 and 6 gets you into the wild card spot. We got Washington on the rise for sure over there on the Colorcast. Hey, they definitely are. And then for the Seahawks, right? We talked about it a bunch and this, that, and the third, right? You know what, CJ? You ever get a little cut on your arm or something growing up, playing outside, doing whatever? You put the Band-Aid on, you're all healed up, and then after that, you got to take the Band-Aid off. You got to take it off. And you're supposed to just rip it. Just rip it right off. And that's what they got to do with Seattle. We talked about it last week. Apparently, they are going to have some cap space next year. But listen, I hate to tell you, that cap space is really not going to fix the entire problem here. So, with that being said, you got some ideas here. I think they got to trade Russ. They have to. I mean, you have a tough decision on whether you want to. I don't think it's really that tough of a decision if it came down to this, but do you keep Pete or keep Russ? I keep Russ because there's only so many good quarterbacks out there that can carry you like Russ can. And he hasn't played his best this year, of course, but he had the finger injury, and a lot of people still think it's affecting him. Brian Greasy last night on the post-game show said, listen, I've understood that injury. There's no way that it's still not affecting him in some type of way. So even with that, I'm still keeping Russ if I had the choice. But if you're the Seahawks as an organization, right, I trade Russ. You could probably get, listen, CJ, for a quarterback like that, Patriots best team in the NFL, don't at me. Listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not arguing with you at all. Got to let go of Pete. I see that over there in the Colorcast as well. I mean, hey, listen, I wouldn't be mad. But if I'm the Seahawks as a franchise, and you got to rebuild because you're 3-8 right now. Your season's over. This is the first time that you can confidently say that their season's over as well. And you trade Russ. What do you think, CJ? I'm thinking 3 first-round picks for Russ, at least. Excuse me. Then you go over to Bobby Wagner. You say, listen, buddy, you're gonna get your name in the Ring of Honor. You're gonna make the Hall of Fame. We might even retire the number. That's how good you've been for us. But we got to trade you too. You trade him to a team that, needs a linebacker that's still competitive. Now, how many, picks are you going to get for him? I don't know. I don't think you're getting a first-round pick for a linebacker these days, especially one that's in his elder ages. But, could you see a third or a fourth? I can see that. Maybe one of those fourth and sixth type of deals. And then you also go over to Jamal Adams and say, listen, we're kind of stupid. We'll admit this. We're kind of dumb. We gave you a contract. Shouldn't have, but we did, unfortunately. And then you trade him as well, and you get something back for him. You reset your entire organization because, listen, you know who has their draft pick this year? The Jets. So it's not like the Seahawks can all of a sudden rebuild through the draft. No. That would make it too easy for them. So they also have to move some people around, try and get picks back because you can't just rebuild your team through free agency. You need young players who are good, who are not making a lot of money, so you can then, sprinkle in those veteran, good talents that are making a lot of money. And, well, they don't have any young players right now or good ones, realistically. I mean, they got DK. He's still on his rookie year. Tyler Lockett's making, some money, but they're just not good. I think it's time for the reset. We got even some people in the comments. See, we got Josh can't comprehend Russ in any other uniform than the Seahawks. Listen, I said the same thing about Mr. Thomas Brady. As a Jets fan, not mad about the Seahawks struggles. I'm sure that you're not. We got Rams going to flop, and then hardest division in the league, 2 big changes needed, although I believe you can do it with Russ, while others say he has to leave. I only say Russ has to leave because you need to rebuild completely, and that's how you're going to get picks back. So it's interesting. But CJ, I rambled on as I usually do. Feel free to shut up whenever you want to. But what do you think?
Yeah, for this game specifically, definitely should have been a game that Seattle should have won, hands down.
Yeah.
There were definitely times where Washington were giving them the game. Heineke turned it over, then Russ turned it right back over. Well, Alex Collins fumbled actually right after that, caused the big loss and kind of killed the momentum. And then after that, the offense was really stagnant from the Seahawks. They weren't able to do too much. They really didn't get it going until that last drive where they was able to score a touchdown and unfortunately not able to convert the 2-point conversion. I agree with most of the things you said. I mean, it just looks like one from a coaching standpoint. I mean, Washington, they were in too high all game, and they really didn't run the ball a lot. And they didn't run the ball at all from Seattle's side. I know they lost Chris Carson for the year. I know they've had a revolving door of running backs over the last few seasons because of injuries, but you still have to run the ball. You still have to have that defense respect that aspect of the game, because if you're just relying on Russell Wilson to drop back 40 times every single time, then you're giving that defensive line indication that, just pin your ears back and just go get to that quarterback. You have to be able to switch it up. You got to have a counter, and I feel like they didn't really do that last night. And of course, you're going to have two safeties high because Tyler Lockett is a deep threat, and then DK, he's a deep threat as well. If he could catch the ball, break a tackle, both of those guys could go to the crib. So you have to put two safeties up high. You got to bring that safety down. You only do that by doing the run game. I feel like Shane Waldron, their offensive coordinator, did a poor job of doing that last night. Well, you got to give credit to Washington. They battled through. Like you said with Taylor Heineke, I mean, don't you wish? I'm pretty sure the Panthers wish they were able to keep him, and maybe Ron Rivera too. I feel like both of those guys had a big impact yesterday defensively for what the defensive scheme that Rivera called against Seattle. And Heineke just made enough plays. They ran the ball. They like to run the ball. They know their identity. Giving it to Antonio Gibson, giving it to J.D. McKissick. He got hurt last night. Hopefully he could get back healthy, because he brings a different aspect to them in terms of catching the ball out the backfield and being an offensive weapon where Heineke could check it down and he could kind of do some things once he gets the ball in his hands. So, that was a big loss. So if he could come back healthy, that's big for them. McLaurin still making plays. Logan Thomas came back, looked like he had a touchdown, but the refs turned it over. I thought it was close. It was close. It looked like his hand got underneath and he was able to keep possession, but I understand why they turned it over. And, they didn't want to kick the field goal because they lost their kicker. So I get it.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but, they still battled through. That 2-point conversion, Fuller was able to make the interception. I know a lot of people are, watching the film, quote unquote, and saying, DK was open, dragging on the back of the end zone. He could have gave it to DK. He could have ran it. He could have did a multitude of things, but just didn't work out that way for Seattle. And it's kind of been their season. We know Russell Wilson's been out for a couple games because of the finger injury. So he's coming back. He just came back the last few games, and the offense has been extremely stagnant. So I don't know what's going to happen in Seattle. I feel like, Russell Wilson on the Dan Patrick show early in the offseason talked about his frustrations with the team and how he wanted some things to change. I really didn't see anything changing that much. The offensive line still isn't great. The wide receiver core is really good. The running game isn't great outside of Russell Wilson running the football, scrambling, making plays with his feet. And honestly, they haven't drafted too well. They haven't drafted well.
No.
You really, outside of DK, you can't really name a guy that they drafted in the last 3 years or so that's really made an impact on this team. So things.
Now, here's the other thing, CJ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. But can you explain to me why DK doesn't get the ball? They said it on the broadcast last night as well, and I have no answers for it. You see offensive coordinators draw up plays for Devontae Adams. He seems like he's open all the time, and he's the only player on the Packers that's going to get the ball, and he's still open. You see plays drawn up for Hopkins and Scary Terry even on the other side of the field. DK got the ball. I think he had one catch.
Yeah, one target, one catch. Yeah.
No, I think he had 2 targets technically, because the first one was like 3. It was in the third quarter, and then the one catch was on that last drive, right? I mean,
Right.
how are you getting somebody like DK Metcalf 2 targets, not 2 catches, which would have been bad enough, but 2 targets? Like, how is that the offensive game plan? Where does that work?
Well, like you said, you said Matt LaFleur and you said Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, those guys are just better play callers than Shane Waldron for the Seattle Seahawks. It's just simple as that. Yeah, I don't understand it either. Why they're not able to scheme up things to get DK open, because he could catch the ball off slants, take it to the crib. He definitely has that type of ability as well. Yeah, screens, things like that. He's kind of like a Julio type build with his size and athleticism. So I'm not sure, man. They brought Shane Waldron in to kind of uh, ease some of the tension between Russ and the front office and Pete Carroll in the offseason, so he could kind of do his own thing. But it hasn't really worked out well, and we're seeing that on the field, and it's playing out that way. So it's 3-8 right now. It's looking ugly. At this point, they could probably just play spoiler to some of these other teams.
Yeah,
in terms of making the playoffs, but in terms of them making the playoffs, definitely don't see that in their future. Especially when you look at the 49ers are on the rise. The Cardinals should be getting Kyler and D-Hop back in that division alone. And then the Rams, even though they're going through a three game skid, they still have 7 games. Still have 7 wins. So it's just tough for me to see them be able to, get back and try to make a push. And then on top of, Russ being hurt as well, and they lost 3 of those games. So the future is looking different. Yeah, it's looking different, man. It's gonna be a tough road for Seattle fans going forward. Obviously, yeah, I would keep Russell over Pete Carroll any day. I mean, Pete Carroll is up there, 70 years old. You got to keep Russ, of course. No question about it. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I feel like they need more than just Russ. Clearly, they got to change a multitude of things. I feel like you need a new GM.
They need an entire offensive line.
Yeah, everything.
They need an entire defensive line.
100%. And the question is he going to want to stay for that? And right now, it's looking like no. And I think that there's definitely some questions that's going to need to be answered here soon in Seattle.
It's hard. It's definitely difficult. You don't really know what's going to end up happening. But listen, he won it out last year, and they won 12 games. So
well, yeah, they started off hot. Remember, they were 8-0, and then they finished off the season 4-5, so or 4-4 or something like that. So they kind of hit it in the second half of the season. They definitely struggled, and then you saw it in the playoffs as well when they lost to a John Wolfer Los Angeles Rams team, and I believe that game was in Seattle as well. And that's when you kind of started to see some of the murmurs and mumblings about what's going on in Seattle. So.
It's something to watch. I mean, because listen, we might have some sweepstakes out here at the quarterback position, especially if nobody's thrilled with how the quarterbacks look in this draft, which it seems like not a lot of people are. But Deshaun Watson's going to be out there once his situations get cleared up. If Russ wants a trade, is Aaron Rodgers going to end up staying with the Packers? This is going to be a very, very tumultuous off season for the quarterback land. Michael swooping into the comments that I miss where Russ might play next year. Hey, listen, if I could pick, I think if I could pick a place that Russ could play,
I say the Saints. That's the best spot to me.
You know what? I want to make my boy happy here. Why not the Panthers? Tell me Russ and DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, and if McCaffrey could stay on the field for 5 minutes, and Tuba Hubbard, they have a solid defense. I wouldn't mind the Panthers. I think it could get interesting over there. As we got some people watching over there on the podcast. We appreciate you all. Spam the hearts, people. We need all those likes possible. Trying to get to that top of those leaderboards. So if you want to help the kids out, feel free. Panthers would be nice. Cleveland, get rid of Baker. I like the Saints.
Cleveland would be good too.
I think I mentioned Cleveland on Gen Z. But hey, I got to keep my options open too, because you know what, CJ, the perks of having a couple shows is I can just make a few picks, and then one of them has to happen, right? So I look smart no matter
Exactly.
Panthers showing they are willing to make moves too. You know what? I wouldn't mind it. Russ on a nice little read option with McCaffrey week 1. I'm not defending that. I'm not doing it. Anyway, we move on to the Sunday night game. Another is it fair to say that the Monday and Sunday night games are disappointments? I think it is. We got a 16-10 Ravens win over the Brownies, and this was ugly. You know what's crazy though, CJ? And I don't know what happened. I think my phone stopped working during the game. It's just crazy because I didn't see any of those, Lamar MVP texts. I didn't see any of the Ravens fans going crazy. Like I think my phone got knocked out of certain. Somebody must have knocked the telephone poles out and no cell service. You know what I mean? Crazy. But Ravens still end up winning this game despite the 4 turnovers from Lamar. Baker couldn't really get anything going over there on the offensive end as well. I believe Nick Chubb only had like 8 rushes too. I thought I saw somebody say something crazy like that. I have to look up the stats, which I probably should have, but we survived. Chubb sold in fantasy. All right, maybe I was right then. But this was ugly, and I was a big Browns fan coming in this game, CJ, for obvious reasons that our boys would have been the number 1 seed in the conference. But God forbid the Browns can actually do anything. 8 carries for 10 yards for Mr. Nick Chubb. Baker embarrassing the fact he couldn't take advantage of those takeovers. And I think that was the story of the game. I mean, we had the one sequence. What was it, CJ? We had an interception followed by, what was it, a fumble, and then another interception, then a punt, then another interception. I mean, it was ugly.
It was ugly football.
Like it in my life.
It was very ugly football between both teams. Lamar was, I don't know what Lamar was looking at. I feel like he was force-feeding Mark Andrews a little bit too much. His accuracy was off. And then Baker, we know he's injured, so we know his accuracy is definitely going to be choppy. It was definitely an ugly type game between both of those teams.
Typical AFC North divisional game, sloppy. You know what? The craziest part about that is you're not wrong. I feel like all of those games are always, punched in the mouth type of football. And this was definitely no different. But hey, at the end of the day, Ravens get the win. They are now the number 1 seed in the conference. I guess, coming out of this game, CJ, my main question, because, some overall thoughts on the game, I don't know. It was ugly, right? This is kind of what we expect, like the comment just said, from divisional games, especially in the North, it seems like. Lots of turnovers. There was nothing pretty. Obviously, the Browns couldn't get the drive at the end of the game, to take the lead, anything like that. So I don't have, anything crazy coming out of this one. Besides the question of how deep can the Ravens go, and probably, what do the Browns do? The Browns are tough for me, man, because I know we got some angry Browns fans in here. That's right, Dustin. I'm looking at you. He said he's not it, and I'm a Cleveland fan. I'm entirely sick of people sticking up for him. It's done. And if he's injured, he's sit down. Keenum won in his place. Baker's doing no better. Just let him heal. See, and that's the thing. I don't disagree. Like, at this point, do you know what his injury status is going into game, CJ? Are you aware of what it is?
I think you got the knee, the left shoulder. I think it's some ribs too.
He has a foot injury, a heel injury. So I'm assuming that's 2 separate feet, because how would you have a foot and heel injury on the same foot? Like, wouldn't it just be foot? So I'm going to say both feet. Like you said, the ribs, the shoulder, I think his other shoulder, his back, knee. He's listed.
Sound like an old man out there.
You guys remember the glass guy from the episode of SpongeBob? Every morning he wakes up and he breaks his legs, and all that. His skin is made of paper. But with that being said, his injury stats going into games is numerous. They don't even list one for him. It's numerous. So I know the old adage out there, shout out Derek Jeter, who's, hanging to the left of me. Shout out fatheads. Is, if you're out on the field, you're 100%. Well, you're not 100% if you're Baker.
Yeah, that's baseball, man. Football, everybody's hurt,
baseball.
bro.
Nobody's 100% in baseball the minute training camp starts.
Yeah, I don't buy that narrative in football.
Here's my struggle, right? We got the comment. Browns need to change at quarterback. Now, I don't know if you mean now or in the future, because this is where I struggle. Right now, I say sit Baker, let him heal. Might be the rest of the year. Hey, maybe he can come back for the playoffs so they can make their Case Keenum ready. But with that being said, I'm not ready to move on from Baker. Now, let me also preface this by saying, do I think Baker is ever going to carry you to a Super Bowl on his back? No, I don't. I think a lot of things have to be right. I think he's a very solid game manager. He understands his tasks, and he can still make some big throws. We've seen it happen before, right? But do Cleveland fans remember, that guy who used to walk around with the jersey with, the 45 different quarterback names on him? Like, you finally got it right in a way where you're not drafting a quarterback literally every year. And you're like 3 years removed from that. So I can't sit here and be like immediately, oh yeah, get rid of Baker. Because what happens when you do get rid of Baker? Are you really that confident in your people that you're going to draft another quarterback?
Well, it's going to have to be a trade for a guy. They're going to have to trade for someone. It can't be. It's right now in the draft. There really isn't anyone that's.
Well, that's the thing. They can pick up his 5th-year option without giving him a big contract extension. Let him play out this year, and then I don't know the quarterbacks coming out of the draft the year after, but we would see. So I don't know. I'm not ready to move on from Baker, and then just for the Ravens, how far can they go? It depends on how far Lamar can drag them, because that's kind of the situation going on. Obviously, we all know that they still have the most players on IR. They're all beat up, but however far Lamar is going to drag them, that's how far they're going to go. Obviously, this was an awful performance. They still somehow win because it's against the Browns. So, I don't know. Is there a formula to beat the Ravens? You saw Miami do it. The Browns hold them to 16 points. And I don't know. It really does depend on Lamar, because I don't really think, unless he's forcing it to Mark Andrews, do you really believe in Hollywood? Bateman hasn't really done anything crazy so far this year. Watkins hasn't really done anything crazy this year. They can run the ball. They can run it pretty well, and they can play some defense. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out what they can do. But what do you think about this?
Yeah, you stop the Ravens by loading up the box. You have to load up the box against the Ravens, and you have to be disciplined on the edge. So for those defensive ends, outside linebackers, if you just bite and just totally commit to, on a read option play, commit to the running back, then Lamar could keep it. And we know the type of things he could do with his feet, potentially taking it to the crib. So he's that dynamic. So if you just load up the box, Lamar's not really going to force the ball down the field that much. I mean, their only deep threat is Hollywood Brown, and he's been inconsistent this year. He's had his
Butterfingers himself.
Yeah, he's definitely had some drops here throughout the season. Mark Andrews, he can be a deep threat at times, but he's still more of a guy that catch the ball underneath, can break a tackle, then get the yak. But yeah, it's definitely been ugly, like you said. If Lamar's not on, and we've been saying this over the last few weeks, if Lamar's not on, then it's definitely could be a game that any team could win. Definitely, if you force him in the pocket, make him be a passer, just the entire time. If you make him be a passer the entire time, and where he's not able to use his legs as well, you're gonna have a good shot to win. You got to keep him in the pocket, man. You can't let him roll out, use his feet as well, because then it becomes scary. And that's what Miami did. That's what Cleveland did. Honestly, is just Cleveland didn't have the offense to respond. And because you get 4 turnovers on the road, and you only put up 10 points as an offense, that's just unacceptable. I feel like Cleveland's defense definitely stepped up. They were able to make plays, but unfortunately, Cleveland's offense wasn't able to do so. And it's kind of the same thing. It's when you go up against the Browns, you got to stop the run, stop Nick Chubb, stop Kareem Hunt, and they loaded up the box, and you got to make Baker beat you. And Baker obviously has been struggling these last, I'd say, outside of the Cleveland. Well, actually, he didn't even play great in the Bengal game. There was more of Chubb and Hunt really going off. He struggled all year, really. And I saw Dustin saying, it's time to move on. if the right trade and the right move is there, you definitely have to make that move and try to get a quarterback. If not, yeah, you could definitely pick up the 5th-year option and run it back one more time when he's healthy, and hopefully, if he's healthy, he could change some things. I do think they need a wide receiver, shockingly enough. They just let go of Odell, but I do feel like they need another outside threat because Jarvis is more of a guy in the slot and works in the slot, and it makes the tough catches and third down and things like that. They need a guy that could take the top off the defense, that doesn't have the type of aura and mystique around him like Odell did over the last 2 seasons when he was in Cleveland. They definitely need that, especially when you're a run-oriented team and you want to do play action off the run. You need a deep threat. Tight ends have been okay. They have 3 guys, and they haven't really been that productive. They have Njoku, Bryant, and Austin Hooper. So, they've been all right. They haven't been world beaters as a collective. So, and of course, that Baker has a lot to do with that. So I agree with you. Push come to shove, if a trade's not there in the offseason, you can run it back. And if you don't trust him after that year, you could tag him. We saw Cousins get tagged. We saw Dak get tagged 2 years in a row and before he got the bag. So it's, that option is definitely on the table. Seeing some guys requesting the mic. You want to
see? Here's the problem with requesting the mic, right? I would love it, but we're out with the streamer. The people are going to be able to hear him. I could actually no, I can't, because if I talk, then I can't hold it up to the mic and all that. It's hard out here.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's going to be something that hopefully down the road we could.
Down the road, we're going to fix that, people. But don't worry. You share your thoughts in the comments. We got you. We'll be your voice.
Dustin, if anybody wants to pull up, we could send the link to you guys, and then you could join the color cast.
If you
can do that.
If you come into the StreamYard, then we can throw you in the color cast as well, so all of our audiences can hear it.
Right. Yeah. That'd be the best option if you guys want to pull up, give your thoughts.
That is what we're here for. Is that all you got for that game, CJ?
Yeah. Really ugly game from both teams, and Cleveland. Justin Tucker is that guy, man. He's able to get hit those kicks, and that's why he's the best in the league.
Yeah, he's almost as good as Nick Folk. You know what I mean? But
guy
with
Nick,
that,
man, used to hate him when he was on the Jets, and now it's all love. It's crazy how things work out.
Only reason I did that because it actually gave the option. I wanted to explore that. Yeah, Dustin. The hot seat is a good thing if we weren't on the StreamYard as well. But hey, we got to give all the audiences out here. We're multifaceted out here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the people that's watching on Colorcast. Well, that's listening on Colorcast for sure. Thank you for the feedback on YouTube, Facebook as well. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell.
Listen, also, make sure you go on, Apple, Spotify, wherever you are. Hit up the podcast as well, people. If you ever miss anything, you want to go back, see if we talked about it, because I'm sure we did, because we're fantastic. Go over, type in the hard count, leave a nice review, leave 5 stars, a nice little comment about why we're great. It's most appreciated. CJ won't be the obnoxious one, so don't worry, CJ. I got it. Don't you worry. Next up, we got the Vikings at the 49ers. A big game. We talked about this last week. The top 10 quarterback of Kirk Cousins debate that we had last week. So this was a top 10 game, of course. But we kind of talked about how this was, going to determine a lot of the playoff seeding, and this might be an elimination game for somebody. Kirk Cousins, LOL. Hey, you know what? You don't got to tell me. Not a Kirk guy. Not a Kirk guy. 49ers beat the Vikings. Obviously improved their playoff spot, I assume, since Washington they're in as well. What are they, the 5 seed or 6 seed? Because the 5 seed would still be the Rams, I'm sure. So the 49ers would be in the playoffs as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, the 49ers are the 6th seed right now, and Minnesota's 7.
Ooh, okay. Oh, so Washington's not in.
This graphic I have here might have been before Tuesday. Monday night, might possibly.
See, we got Washington football keep the 7th seed. Hey, you know what? they keep playing the way they're playing, they can. Because if you notice, and I forgot to say this when we were talking about the Washington game, the defense all of a sudden starting to play. I know they lost Chase Young, so that hurt, but I think the last few games that they've I think they're averaging like 18 points given up, so they've definitely turned it around to, the beginning of the season where I think they were giving up 28 points a game. It was looking very, very ugly. But back to the game at hand, 49ers Vikings. 49ers with the 34-26 victory, obviously, like we just said, catapults them into the playoffs. And I think the story out of this is just that the 49ers got their identity back. I think they've kind of understood how they're going to win games, and that's going to be by running the football and letting Jimmy be the game manager that he kind of is. So Elijah Mitchell, I believe, had 100 yards, over 100 yards, something like that. So that's what they're going to have to do to win games. You have to run the football if you're the 49ers. I don't think they're going to win a bunch of games with, Jimmy G throwing the ball 40, 35, even 30 times. You gotta be able to establish run. Then they have to play defense, and the defense is kind of what carried them, to that Super Bowl back in the day. What was that, 2 years ago? That seemed like forever ago. But they got the stops when they needed it. Obviously, the Vikings. Oh, Perry says no. Washington doesn't make it. Hey, the typical Cowboy fan doesn't want anybody else from that division to be successful. Are anybody surprised here?
No surprise. No surprise for Perry at all.
Not a surprise. I can't wait to get to that Cowboy game though. But yeah, Vikings tried to make the comeback. They couldn't do it. He said, I'm down. Just saying, I don't think. That's all right, Perry. Whatever. Listen, if that's gonna help you rest your head at night better, go ahead. It's fine. CZ, what'd you take away from this game? Your thoughts on it?
Deebo Samuel.
That
guy is electric, man. Got to give a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan, using him in a multitude of ways, not just having him stand out as a wideout, having him come out the backfield. Unfortunately, he got hurt with the groin injury during that game, so that's going to be a big loss for them in these next few games. I think they play Seattle next week, so we'll see if they're able to get that W with missing a weapon like that out there. He's been dynamic for them. When he's catching the ball as a wide receiver, he's probably one of the top guys in yards after catch, 100%. And then out the backfield, he's a weapon too. Getting a multitude of touchdowns, running behind that offensive line. Trent Williams, best left tackle in the NFL, hands down. And that those guys just move people. That's what they want to do. They want to be physical at the point of attack. And Elijah Mitchell, rookie that they found in the 5th, 6th round. Yeah, it's just he's had a phenomenal season as well. When he's healthy, he's out there, he's playing well. They're definitely hitting on all strides right now. The defense looks solid. They played solid, but Minnesota, they have a high-powered offense, so you're not going to be able to stop them all the time. They have 2 number 1 wide receivers, and then they have a excellent running back in Dalvin Cook. Hopefully, he could get healthy as well with the dislocated shoulder that he suffered on Sunday. But it was a big win. We talked about this game prior to. We talked about this game on last episode and how it could potentially play out in terms of by the end of the season and playoff seedings, whether or not either one of these teams can make it. And the 49ers, they did their job. They ran, like I said, they ran the football, keep time of possession. I think that interception that the 49ers got backed up in Minnesota's territory was huge. Kirk Cousins just I don't know if he didn't see the linebacker or he just try to look him off or something like that, but he had the interception and they were able to score the touchdown off of that. That ended up being the difference in the game for sure. Yeah. So just credit to Kyle Shanahan. Earlier, like first half of the season, sort of the second half of the season, people were starting to call for his job and things like that. And I just think these guys started to get healthy. Got to give credit to Jimmy Garoppolo as well. Just not turning the ball. He had an interception early, but outside of that, he definitely kept it conservative, not turning the ball over, being smart with the basketball. And that's what you want. That's what you want to do, man. And got to give them a lot of credit. Got to give them a lot of credit so far. We'll see if they're able to continue to get some W's and get into the dance.
My man CJ so locked into the Knick game. He said taking care of the basketball. It's okay. It's okay.
Bro, they're killing me, man. Scott Randall, bro. It's a different cat.
Listen, it might be a football show, but CJ got to stay locked into everything. This is a busy man too with his, You got a basketball pod. You got another pod dropping soon. So, hey, CJ's locked in everything. I'm not the only one working overtime over here. Got to show love to the kid. But yeah, like you said, Elijah Mitchell, 27 carries, 27, 133 yards, a touchdown. Deebo Samuel had 6 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's crazy what they've done with Deebo. Like, he's a wide receiver who they've made into a running back. He had 1 catch for 12 yards. He rushed the ball more than he had catches, and that usually doesn't make sense for a wide receiver. But listen, it's working, and you know what they say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they certainly should not. And then that's the other thing. Like I said, Jimmy threw the ball 26 times, 17 to 26. That's what you want out of him. There's not much of a world where you should have Jimmy G throwing the ball 30, 40 times. So that's a situation that they have to have. And, I think if the 49ers keep playing like this, they're obviously, going to make the playoffs. And then when you get into the playoffs, like, everybody loves the passing game, and we say this all the time because it's the fancier one. It's more fun to look at, blah, 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 blah. If you can run the ball, you can control a lot of things. You can control the clock. You make sure the other team's offense isn't on the field. You wear down the defense. I mean, it gets hefty. It does. And the 49ers can obviously run the ball. And if they can keep it that way and make sure Jimmy doesn't make the mistakes, why not? I mean, do I think that they're a Super Bowl team? No, but can they cause some problems? Absolutely. I absolutely do think that they can. And, just about this, let's see. We got, I think, 49ers and Vikings get the last 2 wildcard spots. Not sure if Washington finishes out. So, hey, we're going to find out. This is a weird NFL season. Don't you feel that way, CJ? That, we kind of feel like there's not that one – super team that we just kind of know is going somewhere. Like, even we'll get into this next game. We'll transition right into that. Packers win 36-28 over the Rams. And even with the Packers, listen, I know they're 9-3. I still don't love them. I don't know why. I'm just not. Like, I don't know if it's the bias of them never, making it all the way. Packers might be the best team in football. Rams are skidding. That is true. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now. But with the Packers, I just don't know. Like, I should be more impressed with them. And I am. Don't get me wrong. I am. They're missing a lot of people, and they're still out there winning games against some good teams. They, were missing half of their team, literally, against the Cardinals, went into Arizona and won. I know they play the Rams at home, but still. You got to win games, and they end up beating the Rams, like I said, in this one, 36-28. So I should be more impressed with them. They still make me a little nervous, though. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's the fact that I feel like they're going to go to the Super Bowl every year, and then they don't. I blame Matt for that. I'm gonna go ahead and I say I blame Matt because he always tells me that the Packers are going to choke. I mean, what kind of fan is saying his own team is going to choke? Unbelievable, wise cheese. Come on, bro. What are you doing out here? But for the Packers, Rodgers, another unbelievable game, 28-45, 307, 2 touchdowns. A.J. Dillon taking over a little bit for Aaron Jones, who was coming off that injury, 20 for 69. Aaron Jones did play in this game, though, 10 for 23. And then Rodgers, bad toe and all, had a nice rushing touchdown. Why not? And then Devontae Adams does what Devontae Adams does and what DK Metcalf apparently can't do. Is he went
it's levels. It's levels, man.
There, yes, there is. 8 catches, 104 yards. Randall Cobb turned the clock back to about 2012. 4 catches, 95 yards, a touchdown. Even Scantling got in on the love, 50 yards receiving. And then you go over to the Rams. Stafford, 21-38, 302, 3 touchdowns. But can you believe that he's thrown a pick 6 in, 3 or 4 consecutive games? Like, I don't even know how you possibly do that. I actually don't know how you end up doing that. And then here's another thing too, right? Everybody thinks that the Rams are this big pass-heavy team. As someone while on the bike. Okay, CJ, I hear that, or nice little You got to rev the car engine because that makes people cool. You know that. Darrell Henderson, 16 carries, 55 yards. So there wasn't much to do in the run game. There really wasn't. And I think that's what the Rams were built on, even though a lot of people don't think that they are. And they couldn't get it going that great, obviously. That's 3.4 yards a carry. Sony Michel had 3 for 14. Cooper Kupp had a nice game, of course, because, well, it's Cooper Kupp and he can do anything, apparently. 7 catches, 96 yards. Van Jefferson, 3 for 93. And then, hey, we had an Odell sighting, 5 for 81, a touchdown. And here's the big thing, too. We obviously didn't see much of him in their last game because he's still getting used to the offense. CJ, he had 10 targets. 10 targets for Odell. So, obviously, they worked on some things during that bye week. They still don't get the dub. And, almost getting a little bit concerning. I'm almost there. I'm not ready yet because they lost to the Packers. So, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and act like they should have blown them out or it's not significant. But, 3-game slide this late into the season where, you should be gelled at this moment or gelling. I'm a little concerned. I'm not pressing the panic button, but I'm getting there. I'm hovering, I'm helicopter momming it right now. You feel me? What do you think?
Yeah, I have some concerns. They're just not a physical football team right now. You look at when they went to the Super Bowl. They were very physical. Look at Todd Gurley at the point of attack, being such a dominant force, them able to run the football and really put pressure on teams. Now they're really relying so much on Stafford. I know they lost Cam Akers. Shout out Evan Fournier. They're relying too much on Stafford right now, and you just can't do that, especially in that division, especially in that conference. I think one of the reasons why you look at Washington, why they've been able to have success as of late, is because of their ability to run the ball, keep time of possession, and keep, like you said, keep the ball away from these high-powered offenses. And that's going to be a good formula for success in the playoffs. And the Rams really don't have that right now. Cam Akers was out, unfortunately, with the Achilles injury, out for the season. They got Henderson. They traded for Michel. That really hasn't clicked that well. Neither of those guys have really made big splashes, have had really significant games throughout the season, and everything's really on Stafford to make all the plays. McVay, they need to get back to the running game because, again, I've been saying this I think teams are really just to stopping these high-powered offenses. They're just going to play cover 2 shell the whole time. They're not going to let you beat you over the top. These defensive coordinators and these defensive players are not going to let you make the big play. You're going to have to be able to run the ball and be conservative. And a lot of these offenses aren't disciplined to do that thing. So they're trending. They're not trending in the right direction, man. It's definitely been tough for them. We'll see if they're able to bounce back. Like I said, they have 7 wins, so they kind of started off well, so that'll help them. But if they're not able to establish some type of running game, it's going to be tough for them in the playoffs because you can't just put everything on Stafford. Like you said, Odell had a really good game. They were really playing catch up, and because they were down by so much, they had the pick 6, and it was about to get really ugly. I don't even think the score really tells the type of game that it was, because obviously if the Green Bay, they're going to play prevent defense late, and you get your little ticky-tack garbage points here and there at the end of the game,
or your Dak points, as I like to call them.
Right. Oh, well,
that's a shout out to Perry, by the way.
Yeah, it was tough. It's been tough for Los Angeles so far. And then on the Green Bay side, someone commented on the Colorcast chat, feel like they're one of the best teams in basketball. Basketball and football, I would have to agree with that. In the NFL, man, they've been playing well. You talked about that win on Thursday night against Arizona and how they were able to clutch that one out despite missing a lot of their guys, especially on the defensive side, not having Za'Darius Smith, Jair Alexander as well. Aaron Rodgers playing at an MVP level right now. You have to put him at the MVP, at the top of the MVP discussion right now. You have to. For some reason, I don't know why they're not doubling Devontae Adams, but you also got to give a lot of credit to Matt LaFleur and scheming him open, putting him in different spots so he's able to get open. Yeah, his chemistry with Rodgers is unmatched. It's unmatched, man. It's looking great right now. They're hitting their stride. They're also being physical. And that's the thing I like about Matt LaFleur. He knows he has the guys like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, but he also stays to the run. He commits to the run. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones just came back. He makes sure he runs the ball to keep the defense honest. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to do those certain things. Yeah, that's tough. And
I was waiting for the Knicks reaction. See, I'm on cable over here. I got the cable. Shout out the parents, by the way. So I knew what happened. I was waiting for the groan. What's going on, Ethan?
But yeah, it's going to be they've continued to play well. The defense, once they get those guys back, Darius Smith, Jair Alexander, they're going to be scary. And I know, listen, we talked about the last 2 seasons where they're in the NFC Conference Championship game. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in this playoffs. The Bucks definitely look beatable. It definitely looked beatable. Look unstoppable. Like, a lot of people may have thought that in the beginning of the season, some people had them going undefeated and things like that. They definitely look like a team that can be beat. They don't look unstoppable. So I think the Packers are going to have a shot. I think Rodgers is right there in the MVP discussion again. He won it last year. Broken toe and all. He's playing at a high level. However you feel about him on off the football type topics, that's just what it is.
I'm sure Rex Ryan got a remedy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. That's a different type of guy. But again, Green Bay's playing great football right now, and you got to give them a lot of credit. You got to give Matt LaFleur a lot of credit too. I mean, everybody's just looking at the 2 conference championship games. That's not easy to do. Your first 2 years as an NFL head coach, go to the NFC Conference Championship game. You win 30-something games in your first 3 seasons. 35 games. 30. What is he like? 35 and I think 9, something like that. That's elite. Yeah, that's elite, bro. That's elite, man. You got to give him. I know they have Aaron Rodgers, but when Mike McCarthy was there his last few seasons, yeah, they were winning games, but it didn't look like this. So got to give them a lot of credit, and Joe Barry as well with that defense. They've been playing solid and definitely creating turnovers and getting to the quarterback.
We'll see. Like I said, I don't know why the Packers still scare me. Like I said, I'm blaming Cheese. I'm blaming Wise Cheese because he's the one that always tells me the Packers are going to choke in the playoffs. So now it's in my head. See, the Packer fan of USN has maybe not believed in the Packers. Unbelievable, Matt. Packers look like the best team this week, and for sure, and right now. But as we see in the season, it doesn't mean that they will be the number 1 by the end of the season. You know what? That's an excellent point right there. See, because every time we're ready to crown a team, right when they disappoint us, and I feel like we haven't crowned the Packers yet because we're still waiting to see what the Cardinals do because they didn't have Murray or Hopkins these last 3 weeks, so we haven't crowned the Packers. But I think we crowned them this week, which means they're losing, right? That means they're going to lose this week. I don't know who they're playing. I still might pick against them. It could be the Lions for all I know. You never know. Jared Goff cooking up 450 and 3 touchdowns. I feel it in my bones. No, I'm kidding. I would listen. I might be crazy, but I would never say something.
He can't even do that in Madden, bro. Trust.
The disrespect. It's unbelievable. Yo, listen. By the way, anybody out there ever need smoke on Madden? You don't even want to see me, bro. The user is unbelievable. It's sickening how good my user is. But we move on. Broncos, yeah. Chargers. Broncos get the dub here. And this was a big old breakout game. That it was for Mr. Patrick Surtain II, I believe. So 2 interceptions in this game. He also had a pick 6. So shout out to him. Herbert, 303, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 28 of 44. So definitely not great on the completion side of it. Trap game at its finest with the Broncos. Great show, fellas. We appreciate the love, of course. And
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
This was a trap game. It was. I should have known, but I just don't pay attention to these type of things. And I think I found the problem right here. I'm I found the problem right here with the Chargers, right? You can't have Justin Herbert being your leading rusher. You can't do it. Austin Eckler had 12 carries for 31 yards. That's 2.6 yards per carry. Looking like Saquon Barkley out there with those type of numbers. So that's definitely not what you want, not what you want out of your running back.
Stay throwing shots at Saquon.
Saquon, top tier mid. Not even top
tier mid.
Like he's like, you know how there's like the top 1%, like he's the top 30%, but he is the 30, and everybody else is like 30.1. You know what I mean? Top tier mid. Keenan Allen 7 for 85. Austin Eckler 6 for 68. Man, damn, maybe I shouldn't have said Saquon because Saquon doesn't even do that. 6 for 68. Mike Williams 4 for 39. And then you go over to the Broncos side of things. Mr. Teddy Bridgewater 11 for 18, 129 yards, a touchdown. But I believe, if I'm not wrong here, that Teddy got hurt in this game, which is why Drew Lock came in. I don't know how bad it is, so I don't want to speculate. I gotta look at that. Melvin Gordon 17.
Yeah, he came back in the game. He came back in the game. So okay. Yeah.
So hopefully
he was like, nah, I can't let Drew Lock come in here. You feel me?
Yeah,
like,
no.
It's clip for that. Yeah. I'm trying to get some bread next season.
Javonte needs to be unchained. Let Melvin Gordon, like I was assuming, let go Melvin Gordon. Let that dude be the bell cow. Broncos are the most up and down team. There's a lot of up and down teams. That's why
Chargers are one of them.
Yeah, the Chargers are one of them. I hate the NFL. I can't do it. I can't decide who I think is good besides our boys. But we'll get to our game coming up soon. But yeah, I don't disagree with Javonte Williams needing to be let loose. I mean, he had 3 catches, 57 yards, 14 carries, 54 yards. So, hey, he's obviously doing something. I don't take much out of this game. I don't. I think it was just a bad performance on the Charger side of things. Only scoring 13 points with that offense is not what you want, obviously. And then you just don't get stops in the fourth quarter because you look at, the box score here. It was 14-7 at halftime. Nobody scores in the third quarter. And then the Broncos score 14 in the fourth, and the Chargers only score 6. So that's where the game got away from them. But I don't take too much out of it. I think both of these teams are very up and down. I don't know where either one of them are really going to finish. So I just don't know. CJ, be the smart one here. Take it away from me. I'm begging you because I don't know.
I mean, you obviously probably trust the Chargers. You got to probably trust the Chargers more because of the quarterback. But they've, like you said, they've been very inconsistent. I think their loss and the Eagles' loss definitely are the most disappointing losses of the week, hands down. Just looking at where yeah, you could throw the Cowboys in there too.
That's a nasty call right there,
You could throw the Cowboys in there too, but I feel like the Eagles and the Chargers a little bit more. Just simply, definitely the Eagles, but definitely the Chargers for the fact that you had the big win against Pittsburgh on Sunday night last week, and you were able to come back, make a big play. Sometimes for those type of wins, that could rally a team, especially later in the season. And divisional matchup, you're going to Denver, high altitude. It's not an easy place to play at all, and the Vic Fangio, got to give him a lot of credit. That defense answered the call, stopping Herbert, making things difficult for him in the pocket. The offense really wasn't able to do a lot of things throughout the game. Like you said, PS2, Patrick Surtain, the second, was able to get some turnovers, took one to the crib for 70 yards. He's lethal. He's dynamic. I saw a lot of Bronco fans thinking about, maybe they made the wrong pick at 9. Maybe they should have went quarterback, something like that. But, he's definitely looking like a guy that's going to be a marquee guy, cornerback in the league for a long time. His ball skills is exceptional just for a rookie. And he's challenging him and Micah Parsons. Both of those guys are got to put them neck and neck for defensive rookie of the year right now. Definitely a nice race between those two young players. And if they're able to run the ball with Javonte Williams, like that was said in the chat, and Melvin Gordon as well could still be a factor. And Teddy, just simplify the game, man. Don't turn the ball over. Play smart football. Give it to those weapons that you have on the outside and let them do all the work. They're going to be in games. When Teddy's turning the ball over, doing too much, trying to make too many plays, and and getting out of his element, that could lead to turnovers, and that could put you in a position to lose. And I think on Sunday they didn't do those things, and that's why they were able to come out and get the W. And of course, it's a divisional game, so it's always going to be close. It really doesn't matter what the records are when it's a divisional game. You want to make sure you get that dub because it just you get up for those games because it's very important regardless of what the record is for either team.
It's disappointing. I expect more from the Chargers. I had them making the playoffs, and they're still in it technically. I think they're the 7th seed right now. So I could still look smart. CJ, listen, I love football. Big fan of it, obviously. We have a football show. But Falcons and Jags, I'm not interested. You have any thoughts on it? I'm not interested. I didn't watch a single moment of it. I'll be candid with the audience. Not even a play that I see from this game.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the highlights. Cordell Patterson, man, he's gonna. All I could say about this game really is he's gonna get paid this offseason coming up. I don't know if it's gonna be with the Falcons or maybe with another team, but everybody's talking about Deebo Samuel and how his ability out the backfield. This guy's been doing it.
OG.
Yeah, exactly. He's the OG. I mean, he's been doing it since the Vikings days, Raiders, Patriots. I mean, he was with us, so. He's a dynamic weapon on the outside offensively, and he's definitely gonna get paid for sure. Outside of that, the only thing I'll say about the Jaguars is I just don't know if bringing in a rookie head coach for a rookie quarterback was the best move because it'd probably be smart to bring a guy in that's established, knows how to develop quarterbacks. And you look at Urban Meyer's track record, he's really not that great of developing quarterbacks. I mean, outside of Alex Smith, it's been, J.T. Barrett, Cardell Jones, Tebow. You know what I'm saying? Like it hasn't been a lot of household names that have really transitioned into the NFL and have had a multitude of success. So I don't know, man. I don't know how long that's going to work out. Obviously, this year he's gonna get the rebuilding pass first year,
of course.
And then next year they're gonna have to start winning some games, man. Definitely gonna have to start winning some games and showing some type of fight and showing some type of competition in that division. And honestly, I feel the same way for the Jets as well with Salah and Zach Wilson. I mean, just bringing in a rookie head coach with your rookie quarterback to start the franchise,
and for the Jets, a rookie offensive coordinator.
Exactly, rookie offensive coordinator. It's just. Everything's so fresh, and I don't know if that was the best formula for success for a young guy entering the league, but we'll see how it plays out for both of those teams and both of those quarterbacks.
Well, I know how it's going to play out for one quarterback. Well, at least I hope. As we go to the Steelers and the Bengals, now, I said this yesterday because we had a question. Oh, should Big Ben retire? Let me tell you something. If Big Ben doesn't retire, they got to Old Yeller that man. You know what I mean? They got to take him behind the barn and be like, listen, bro, I'm sorry, but if you don't give us the uniform, listen, you can't do it anymore. 24, 41, 263, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. That pick six, I don't even know what he's looking at. The cornerback ran the route for the wide receiver. So I don't know what you're doing. He got Claypool murdered on a throw over the middle. It just wasn't a fun game to watch. I wish Alex was in here so we could make fun of him for being a Steelers fan. But, Big Ben got to go. The man is as mobile as me. He can't make throws anymore. He has no type of arm. And listen, we talk about wasting, careers all the time and this, that. It might be his first season, but they're already wasting Najee Harris, bro. Already doing it. I don't even know how that's possible. 8 carries, 23 yards, so he couldn't get anything going. Deontay Johnson had a good game, probably the only person on the field for the Steelers that did. I guess you give it a Claypool too. But Johnson had 9 for 95, Claypool 3 for 82. Other than that, the Steelers, terrible. And I mean, you give up 41 points to the Bengals as well. That steel curtain's looking more and more like flannel or something like that. And then you got Joe Burrow on the other side of the field, 20 for 24, 190 yards, a touchdown interception. And then, listen, another big game for Mr. Joseph Mixon over there. 28 carries. 28 carries. That's no light work. 165 yards, the 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins mossing people out here, 6 catches, 114 yards, a touchdown. And, the rest of the receivers didn't really do much. The next closest person was Jamar Chase, 3 for 39. So it was all about T. Higgins and Joe Mixon in this one. They put up 41 points, and it was just an ugly game. It was definitely not a good game to watch. I had hope because, like we said, AFC North rivalry game. I'm having big hopes for this game. About 5 minutes in, I knew it was over.
Yeah, like you said, 28 rushes for Joe Mixon. That's their identity. Their identity is running the football. They want to be a physical football team. And then, Burrow and those guys, Higgins and Chase that they have on the outside, and use those guys off the play action and take the top off the defense. But that's what they want to do. They want to run the football. Zach Taylor came from the Rams back when they had Todd Gurley when they went to the Super Bowl. Being physical at the point of attack. You got to make sure that offensive line is intact. That offensive line is strong and physical. And right now, they're playing that way. You look at Joe Mixon the last few games; he's been playing exceptional, looking like a top 5 running back. Got to put him in the top 5 right now, hands down. He's been playing at a high level, especially he's able to continue this and get the Bengals to the playoffs. Got to give him a lot of credit. Joe Burrow's, has been solid, been accurate, kind of cut down the turnovers a little bit. He struggled a little bit in the middle of the season, kind of in the beginning of the season with those interceptions against Chicago and things like that. I think they're just settling down a little bit, understanding that our identity is running the football. And then Joe, just be accurate, give it to your guys, let them make the plays. And then the defense too. Got to give the Bengals defense a lot of credit. They get Jesse Bates. They don't have a lot of household names. But, they collectively, they've been playing excellent so far this season, 7-4. They're kind of hot and cold, too. They kind of have moments where they look great, and then there's other moments where they look like, what's going on. But I think as of late, they're, really starting to understand what they need to do to get to the dance. And I think it's been going well for them. I got to give them a lot of credit. Got to give Zach Taylor a lot of credit as well. And then for the Steelers, it's just, it's the end of Big Ben. No doubt about it. It was a good run. What was it, 17, 18 seasons, almost 40 years old. It's time to transition. That's it. And now it's going to come down to
football. Be the GOAT Turkey Bowl quarterback.
It's going to come down to who they get at quarterback. That's going to be key. You look at guys, Garoppolo. I saw a report a couple of days ago that the 49ers are looking to trade Garoppolo and give the keys to Trey Lance next offseason. That could be a good fit. We talked about Russell Wilson. We talked about Deshaun. So that's. I think Rodgers would be crazy to leave the Packers, bro. I mean, it's an easy divisional title every year. There's not a threat at quarterback outside. He's the only threat at quarterback in the division. He's the best quarterback in that division, hands down. They have the best wide receiver in that division. You could say, I'll say Devontae Adams still. Yeah, Jefferson's on the roster. Yeah, hands down. Yeah, I still go Adams. Running backs, they look like they have a nice 1-2 punch now. If Jones and Dillon are able to, do some things, he'd be crazy to leave. But those other guys, Garoppolo, Watson, Wilson, Steelers. That's a good place. That's a good place to go to. Mike Tomlin, one of the best head coaches in the league. The defense this game was putrid, man. I don't know what happened. They got Fitzpatrick back. They got TJ Watt back. I thought the game would be a little bit closer, but they really got hit in the mouth, and it's ugly, man. They really can't do much. They can't do much. Like I said, Big Ben is limited. What made Big Ben so great was off the improv, turning around, making plays with his feet, guys coming back to the football, making plays. They don't have Antonio Brown. They don't have Emmanuel Sanders. They have some nice young wide receivers, but Juju Smith was solid he was really solid for those first few years in the league. He was making some plays. Even last year, he played pretty well. Just not number one wide receiver well, but he played good. And they don't have that anymore. So, and the offensive line is just not to the level where it needs to be for Najee Harris to have the type of impact that they expected when they drafted him that high coming out of Alabama. So, it's just this type of year. You're gonna have teams have down years. Look at New England; they had a down year last year, went 7-9, then bounced back the following year, and now they're playing well. So, they're still 500, but we kind of see what's going to happen with this team just because of the talent's not there, and they just haven't been consistent enough to really say they're going to be a playoff team.
I'm intrigued. The Steelers intrigue me going forward. I mean, the Bengals intrigue me going forward as well because I think that they're, in a. It's weird to say this, but don't you think the Steelers are in the worst position of all the teams in that division? You kind of think of them as the holy grail.
They got to get the quarter. If they get the quarterback right, then no. But if they don't get the quarterback right, then 100%. They got to get the QB right. I don't even think Garoppolo would be because you got Burrow there, Lamar.
And no, if you get Jimmy, he's still the worst quarterback in that division, easily.
Him and Baker, it's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em. They kind of do the same thing.
Yeah,
they kind of do the same thing. Yeah, even Baker healthy.
I forgot about Baker for 0.5 seconds.
Yeah, so, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean?
But hey, I still think a healthy Baker, I might take over Jimmy. But then again, that's kind of like being the skinniest person at a fat convention. You know what I mean? So listen, I'm allowed to say that. I'm a big boy out here. You know what I mean? What's going on, Matt? In the comments over there in the Colorcast.
That's good, brother.
Shout out for all the love on the Colorcast. Like I said, people, thanks for spamming the hearts. Feel free to keep going. Why not? But CJ, why don't you lead us through? And I gave you a nice landing spot with our boys.
Oh yeah, I appreciate this. This is a layup. Appreciate this layup. We got
alley-oop right here.
Yeah, 100%. We got the Titans and the Patriots. Week 12 matchup. Titans obviously decimated with injuries this year. No Derrick Henry right now. AJ Brown and Julio Jones are on the IR. Tannehill, struggled against the Texans last week, 4 interceptions. This week, much of the same. Had an okay first half. Missed a big throw on the sideline on the left side, and I think in that first quarter, which could potentially got them in the end zone. Surprisingly, they ran the football very well. I think over 200.
Very well.
Yeah, 260 plus yards. But both of those guys coughed up the ball, Hilliard and Foreman, and that was a big difference in this game. Really, I mean, those turnovers really swayed the outcome of this game, in my opinion. The offense for the Patriots was a little bit stagnant. I feel like they were able to get down into Tennessee's territory, but was only settling for 3. The big pass from Mac Jones that he missed to Hunter Henry was a big time miss. His mechanics kind of got out of whack a little bit when I was watching the All-22, and he's going to have to work on that. He's still a young guy. So
CJ dropping the All-22 on us out here. Coach CJ in the building, you feel me?
Yeah. His mechanics got a little out of whack a little bit on that pass, but just things you got to clean up. But he definitely made some big plays. He definitely had one of his best games of the year, hands down. I mean, he's 23 for 32. So I don't want to nitpick too much. And he made some big plays down the field as well. Big play to Jacoby Myers, couple plays to Jacoby Myers. Kendrick Bourne's really playing well. Really playing well. He's his ability to get the yards after the catch. He brings a lot of energy to the football team. And the running game was stagnant mostly for the first part of the game. And then they were able to catch on later on. Stevenson had a big run, and then Harris pretty much hit the dagger with his touchdown run late in the fourth quarter, and which kind of just sealed everything. And then this defense has been very opportunistic, able to get turnovers. Like I just talked about, the Tuna Godshaw forcing a fumble on Hilliard, J.C. Jackson making a big play, punching the ball out on Deontay Foreman. They're just doing the little things right. And then J.C. Jackson again getting an interception in the red zone or 4th and goal, big tip pass by McCourty. They're just playing high level football right now, man. I mean, I just feel like they're one of the most complete teams in the NFL, hands down. Bill Belichick is, coaching a masterclass right now. I have to give him a lot of credit. And I'm very excited. I thought I had this team going 10-7 this year. We'll see. We'll see how it happens over these last 6 games. But they look good. They look really good. Again, don't want to get too high right now because again, I haven't seen Buffalo. See Buffalo on Monday night. That's going to be a big game at Highland Park Stadium. It's going to be a big game, and they're going to have to be able to get that done. And if they want to be able to win the division or potentially claim that first seed in the AFC. What's your thoughts on this game, bro?
Man, let me tell you something. I'm right there with you. I don't want to All right, let me praise them before I come
Matt
crashing
said
down.
he requested the hot seat. Matt, you're gonna have to if you want to pull up, you're gonna have to probably pull up to the stream, right?
Yeah,
And
so
then
it
pull
would
up to
have to be the stream and the color cast as well. I
color
texted
cast.
him
Yeah.
off to the side to let him
Okay.
know.
Oh, okay.
So,
Cool.
but before I come down a little bit, I'll praise them first. I'll praise them first. Of course, Mac Jones passes for 310 yards. CJ, I just want to tell you, I blame myself, or I thank myself for Mac Jones having 310 yards because I bet his under, and I believe his under was like 220 because he never passes for over 200 yards ever. He threw 3 touchdowns one game, had 198 yards, but of course this game, he passes for 310. So you're welcome if you have Mac Jones in fantasy and you were starting him. But this might have been the first game.
I did have Mac in one of my fantasies. Shout out to the guy, man.
You're welcome, bro.
Shout out Young McCorkle.
But this might be the first game, and CJ, I don't know. I don't think I'm exaggerating here, that Mac won us. Like, I think this might be the first game that Mac himself won for us. You know what I mean?
Fair. That's fair. Definitely fair.
You look at the run game. Ramondre Stevenson 9 for 46, Harris 11 for 40. Mac even out here showing off the wheels, 2 for 11. A nice little end around. Jonnu Smith only 1 for 9. But I mean, you start looking at the receiving. Jacoby 5 for 98. Kendrick Bourne 5 for 61. The 2 touchdowns. Had that unbelievable play where he tiptoed along the sideline. Shout out to his Jordans, of course, and ended up scoring on that play. Brandon Bolden taking over the James White role, 4 for 54. Got Jonnu involved a little bit in a nice little revenge game, 3 for 49. So I look at this as a game that Mac won us. I do. Just because the run game wasn't doing anything. And then, of course, obviously you have to give a big shout out to the defense, like you said. J.C. Jackson, Mr. INT, became Mr. Fumble as well. He punched that ball out on the big run. I believe Hilliard had. I believe that was him.
I was Foreman on that one.
It was Foreman. Okay.
Yeah.
So a big run, obviously. Then Jalen Mills, who I thought the world was going to come to an end, actually made a play. Got to the ball before it went out. So the Patriots got the possession there. The interception in the back of the end zone by JC, the other interception or other fumble, like you said. So it was a great defensive game as well. But I give a lot of credit to them. But hey, like I said, this might be the first game that Mac Jones won the Patriots this year, and I don't think it's anything crazy. But now, CJ, let me temper everything, because number 2 seed in the conference, still in first place in the AFC East, all that, we're doing great. But I am I like to look at myself as a well, first of all, I'm pessimistic. I'll say that. Very pessimistic. But a down the middle Patriot fan. You know what I mean? I call it how I see it. And there's some things you got to fix, right? Like you said, they had 2 rushers, the Titans did, for over 100 yards. Foreman went 19 for 109. Hilliard went 12 for 131 and a touchdown. You got to fix that. I mean, you come into this game knowing that the Titans like to run the football, and they did exactly that. It was just a simple fact that there were some turnovers and that they couldn't really, get into the end zone themselves. Let's see. They punt the first possession. Patriots go down, score a touchdown. They come back with a touchdown. Patriots kick a field goal, but then the Titans miss a field goal. Then there's the fumble, another fumble, a punt, interception. So they were giving the game away, and even at halftime, it was close.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah, and then we just 20 unanswered. It was a wrap.
Yeah, so it was definitely close for a little bit, and then so you got to fix that. Obviously, Tannehill, terrible. Just awful. 11 for 21, 93 yards, a touchdown, interception. Jesus. But so I'm happy. I'm happy with them, but I still say, it's where I get a little pessimistic here, because we're on a 6-game winning streak, CJ, and we have the number 1 scoring offense and defense, by the way, during that time. But you look at the schedule of who we've beaten, And listen, am I happy that we've won? Yeah, but CJ, let me ask you this: if I say the Bills, I'll just use them as an example, go into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs, are you impressed? Let's say, just picture this as last year. Let's picture this last year. Are you impressed that the Bills go into Arrowhead, beat the Chiefs full strength?
Of course, yeah.
Now, let's say the Bills go in there, beat the Chiefs, but little caveat, they didn't have Kelsey or Hill or whoever their running back was at that time. Would you still be impressed?
I mean, I would still be impressed, but not to the level as with them at full strength, of course.
And that's my point. That's my full point, because the 6-game winning streak, you beat the Jets, doesn't even count. They did beat the Chargers, who I'm high on, so I give that as a good victory. They beat the Panthers. We've seen what they've turned into, so I don't even count that much. At the time, it was all right. They go in, beat the Browns. Baker Mayfield, we just established literally every injury in the world he has, and you got to remember, they didn't have Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt in that game as well. And then they beat the Falcons, really, and then they beat the Titans, where they don't have anybody. So it's a 6-game winning streak. I'm not taking the victories away, but I'm not sitting here, on top of a mountain where I would be if we were on the same exact 6-game win streak, but those teams were healthy. And listen, like I said, you can only play the teams on your schedule at the point of the schedule where you play them and whatever team they can put onto the field. So they won the games, and that's good, and they should have. But like I said, I'm not, super crazy like I would be if they were beating these teams if they were a little bit healthier. Is that bad?
No, that's fair. That's fair. I will say that, they're blowing these teams out though, the bad
That's
teams.
True.
So it's like that's kind of like the that would kind of offsets that a little bit. If these games were close and they were like down to a couple possessions and we had to barely squeeze one out and things like that,
that's fair.
Then I'd be like, okay, but the point differential over the last 6 games, I believe, is 148, best in the league right now. I think the Bills are third. So when they win, they blow teams out as well, which makes this game on Monday night such a crucial game for both teams. And it's I agree with you. But then also, again, it's a rookie quarterback. I understand. Listen, I mean, so this is the thing about the pundits or whatever. And, I've been looking back, looking at the draft, looking back, seeing what people said about Mac and things like that.
I was in love with Mac the whole time, by the way. I just had to play it up for the draft show, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course. We know that. But I've been seeing what a lot of people have said, and even now, even though he's playing well, people are saying, this is his ceiling, which is crazy to me. It makes no sense to me that people just can definitively say this is going to be his ceiling, because one, this is his first year in a 20-year offensive playbook. This playbook has been created by McDaniels and Belichick for 2 decades. So so you're telling me, he knows the entire playbook? And
I was gonna say, you probably don't even know all the plays yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In 7 months, it's impossible. And then also, like I said, he could clean up some mechanics and things like that. So his upside is definitely. I feel like you can't put a ceiling to his play. You can't, because one, he got drafted to a perfect situation. Can you say if he was on the Jets or the Jaguars, would he struggle? I think he would struggle, but I still think he would have success eventually, because I think he is a smart quarterback. Yeah, he's mature. He's a smart quarterback from the neck up. I think he does a great job of watching film and things like that. But he went to the perfect situation. I'm glad teams slept on him. I'm glad the pundits said what they said to kind of sway teams from not drafting him. So he could fall to the burrow, man. That's obviously what I'm excited about. I put my story up a couple days ago.
I saw that.
Yes, sir, man. And I'm definitely excited that he's on the squad, and I think he can continue to improve for sure. And also, as he gets older, you would hope that Bill would put. And I'm a fan of the guys on the outside. I feel like they've really stepped up. Yeah, I really felt like they play with a chip on their shoulder, similar to how those receiving cores back when Brady was there. They kind of play with a chip on their shoulder because everybody said, "Oh, look at these guys. These guys are journeymen. They're trash. It's all Brady." And, I think they rallied around each other, really formed a solid group where they all made key plays. And I'm kind of seeing that right now with those guys, with Bourne, Aguilar, and Myers as well. I think those guys are really doing the same thing. That's not, one guy is not going to get 8 for 98, but, each of those guys get 5 for 60. I'll take that. And maybe a couple of those guys get a touchdown here and there. I'll take that and I think it's so smart what Bill's doing. He's starting from the foundation with the quarterback, and that's what you're supposed to do. You can't have a quarterback come out here and throw the football, a rookie quarterback at that, start throwing the football 40 times a game in your rookie season. It could really mess up your development as a young guy in the league. Smart, check the check downs, learn how to be disciplined. And then once you get older, then you're able to push the ball down the field and do things like that. So again, people want to talk about the arm strength and things like that, and how that's going to formulate. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I feel like you could definitely get a stronger arm as you get older, as you work on your mechanics. Your mechanics can help your arm strength. But I'll get into that another time. But again, big. It's too much.
No, we got Matt in the color cast telling you to please.
Oh yeah, shout out Matt, man. But yeah, listen, man. Big win, important win, and Buffalo on Monday night is gonna be a big game.
My brother's gonna be at that game. His girl got him a nice little anniversary present. I don't know why I wasn't involved in this. They know I'm a Patriot fan. Listen, all because it's an anniversary, that means I can't go crazy. No, I'm kidding. But I'll have to tell him to swing some picks. I still haven't been to a football game, CJ. Still haven't done it.
And
I think the Bucs play the Jets this year, though. I think I might have to.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go see Tom. Go see Tom one time, man. You only get
You
only got for so many. Yeah.
I was gonna say before he dips on out.
Yeah, definitely. You got to go see Tom before it's over for sure. That'll be smart. That should be an automatic dub. It's gonna be an automatic dub. We got the Panthers and the Dolphins. Woo! Listen, let me say this about Miami, man. They've been playing solid. They're on a 4-game win streak right now. They're on a 4-game win streak right now. Tua's playing well. I know Dolphin fans are kind of mixy about Tua and whether or not is he going to be the guy for the future. I know they've kind of flirted with Deshaun Watson's name over the last year and a half or so, really. Tua's playing well. I'm still a fan of Tua. I was a fan of Tua in college. It's just hindsight's 2020, and everybody seeing Herbert, throw for 380 and 4 touchdowns. It's like, oh, they should have got Tua. They should have got Herbert. But honestly, when Tua came out of college, he was one of the best quarterbacks coming out for sure. So and then in Miami, he's playing well. When you put some solid pieces around him, I think the defense has really stepped up as well.
Waddle's that dude.
Waddle's that dude. His best receiver is his college teammate. It's really Waddle's that guy. It looks like he's on pace to break the rookie reception record. Yeah, he's
I
definitely.
didn't know that. I know Jefferson was on pace to come in like second, but
he's been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal for them, scoring touchdowns, and he's really their only threat. They don't have another guy out there that's really that's somebody that could change the game like how he can. He has elite speed. He was a great pickup. Just look at that Alabama team. Everybody said Mac was just throwing at wide receivers, and they were wide. They were all wide open, and anybody could do that. I just think they had one of the greatest teams ever, just like the year before when they had Burrow, Chase, and Jefferson.
Yeah,
it's just elite. I think those last 2 years, we were just looking at 2 of the best offenses we've seen in a long time, from quarterback, receiver, and running back. And Waddle's been playing exceptional, man, and got to give him a lot of credit. Got to give Brian Flores a lot of credit. They're starting to sneak back in. They got to get some more W's, but and Cam, man, tough for the guy. When he was still in New England, I was like, I'd give it to like week 4, and if he was going to play bad, it's time to put Mac in. And then when they cut him, I was kind of shocked, but then I understood it. But I was ready for Mac to start 100%. Like I said, I wanted the Patriots to take him from the jump, so I was ready. And then, it was a nice comeback story, man. Nice narrative. And, it could still be a good comeback story. They could still, get some wins, maybe. But it was just a bad game. He had a terrible game. And then McCaffrey being out, too, for the season. It's definitely been a rough year for the Panthers, for sure. Cam definitely struggled. He's gonna have to do something in these games. I know you can't. I know he's not Superman anymore. He can't do everything like he used to, from 2011 to 2015.
Super trash.
But they're gonna have to try to.
He's out for the rest of the season.
Who?
Mr. Daniel Jones.
Oh, with the neck injury, right?
I thought he was. I just saw that he was, not playing in this game. I know he was out for the season. Damn! Look at this, Matt. Look at Matt dropping dimes on his mid show. I didn't even get the update yet.
It might be. That might be his last time as a Giant, man. Who knows?
Oof,
it's crazy. We're about to transition to that game right now after this game. This Miami against the Panthers game. But what's your thoughts on this one? Yeah, it was just an ugly game for the Panthers, and then obviously at the end with McCaffrey being out for the season, just really made it even worse.
Listen, all I'll say is my phone must have been broken during the 1 o'clock games too. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting none of those, Cam tweets, messages, nothing. I don't. My phone was bugging out on Sunday. Apparently, the Sunday night game, I didn't get any, Lamar ones. This one, I didn't get any Cam Newton one. Listen, CJ, bad game. 5 for 21. 92 yards and 2 interceptions. Bad is an understatement. So we'll see what happens with the Panthers. We'll see. They got some tough games ahead. They have to play. Yeah, and like Matt said, 5.7 QBR. I don't even know how you do that. Panthers got a tough schedule though. They play the Saints. I think they have to play the Bucks twice. I want to say they have to play the Bills too. I mean, it's you might not be looking at too many more wins here. So it's gonna look a little tough out there. And then, like you said, McCaffrey being out for the season, there goes their season. Because listen, we saw before when McCaffrey went out earlier in the year that their offense didn't even know what a football looked like once McCaffrey left. And well, now McCaffrey's not there again. And like you said, shout out to the Dolphins. Defense is playing very well. I think they've held all of their opponents under 20 points during this 4-game win streak. So shout out to them. And then, like you said, Jalen Waddle, 9 for 137, a touchdown. Tua is playing better, 27 to 31. I still think if Watson trade rumors come up, they would take him over because, I mean, let's be honest, Watson's better. So you can't really blame him. But
here's the thing, right?
Tua's going to have a job, is what I'll say.
But here's the thing. You could build around Tua, though. He's still on a rookie deal. You're going to have to pay Watson 40-something million. You still got to pay him $40 million.
Counter argument here, right? What are the odds? Well, 2 parts. What are the odds Tua turns into 50% of Watson? And second, how many times does a player like Watson ever become available? You have to draft him, and we all know drafting is a crapshoot. So, like,
that's true, but you're only as good as the team around you. Watson, why do you think Watson wants to get traded? They went 4-12 last year. The team around them was dirt. They were terrible. That's why he wants out. So you got to put a team around Watson, and if you're giving up all your first round picks to Houston, what are you building around him? It's just going to be Watson and Waddle. That's it. So I feel like they should. Tua is 9-7 in his 16 career starts. That's pretty good. That's not. I mean, it's not great, but it's good. That's a 9-7 is solid. Again, without any type of. They don't have a elite running back. They don't have a. They had their rookie wide receiver as their best wide receiver. Gesicki is underwhelming this year. I thought he would make a splash this season. He hasn't really played well. They give it to other tight ends all the time. So they should use those picks to build around Tua, continue to build the offense, get right. Because he is accurate, he is able to see the defense as well, and he's mobile a little bit. But his accuracy is definitely what's gonna keep him a job, whether it's in Miami or not. And I think what Miami should do is build around him. And if he's not that guy, at least you drafted well and you have weapons, and then you could go try to get a quarterback later. But I would still trust him, man. I mean, they got the win against the Patriots, albeit, Damian Harris fumbled, but it's still a W against the Patriots.
I'm not mad about that, by the way.
Now it looks better. Yeah, it looks better. It looks better now. It looks better when you're when they're 8-4. And
I don't think about that sometimes at night. Never.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't look too bad today. But again, I just feel like they should trust Tua a little bit more, man. You just drafted him last year, and now you want to jump ship.
Shout out Josh Rosen.
I get it. It's a different situation from the standpoint that they have the draft picks. You know what I'm saying? If they didn't have any draft picks, then yeah, and they've drafted pretty well. Jillian Phillips, the guy that they drafted out of Miami, he's been playing solid too in this 4-game win streak. He's been able to get to the quarterback on that defensive line. So I would be patient with Tua, man. It's just I wouldn't just jump ship so quick just because you see Herbert over there, playing well. He's been inconsistent too. He hasn't had a perfect games every single game. He's been inconsistent as well. This is what young quarterbacks do. Period. So
I think it's the injury thing with Tua too. You know what I mean? He's never been the healthiest of all the guys.
That's going to be the key. That's going to be the key. If he could stay healthy, then he's going to have a shot to show he's worth of being a franchise guy. If not, then it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him for the team to trust him. So he's going to have to stay healthy.
Yes, sir. It's not popping up on the screen yet for the kid, but we got Matt that's going to – oh, there he is. We got Matt joining us. Yeah, he hit me up, said he had to pop on in. So, I can't deny the kid.
What's going on?
Yo, Matt, throw your phone on the color cast so we can get you in the hot seat so everybody can hear you as well. Just make sure the volume is off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Can't have that overlapping over here because, as the people know, we're professionals. This is basically ESPN X, ESPN Fox. You know what
ESPN
I mean?
Fox, yeah.
ESPN Fox.
We're professionals out here. But CJ, what? Listen, I guess we technically have to go to these next 2 games, but
All right, just request the hot seat too.
Oh yeah, I don't get the request. How come I don't get it? I'll just put you in. There you go. 30. Oh, I gotta choose a time. Matt, can you turn the volume down any more? You gotta do it from the side of your phone, not like the actual thing. It's weird, stupid. Put them on.
I did it. I did it as low as possible.
All right, whatever. We'll figure it. We'll be all right. I'm sure. If you hear me twice, well, too bad. Look at that. We even got Matt on the hot seat now for the 30-minute timer. I don't know. That's crazy. You can set the timer. That's kind of fire. But all right. I guess we move on, CJ. Right?
Yes, sir. Let's do it, man.
You want me to take it? You got it. What you want?
Yeah, right. We got the Eagles and the Giants, the G-men. Like Matt broke the news. Matt Schefter here.
Yeah, that's right.
Matt,
call me the Marapaport. Like Ian Rappaport goes
Okay. Matt Sheet here dropping bombs in the color cast chat, announcing that Daniel Jones out for the season with the neck injury. And this game was just it was ugly.
Yeah,
it was an ugly game, and I was flipping back between obviously Pats Titans, and it was 3-zip forever. Just an ugly game. Ugly game. Giants were able to score a touchdown. They still haven't been able to get a touchdown to a wide receiver in I think over a month, which is sad. They got it to their fullback
and a left tackle.
Exactly. Eagles really underwhelming, disappointing loss. This was the most disappointing loss from any team in my opinion this week. It was for the taking. This game was for the taking for them, and able to get this W and potentially try to make a playoff push. And they got the Jets next week, so hopefully they're able to get that one. But but it definitely looks rough for Philadelphia. Just couldn't get the offensive going. Jalen Reagor, sheesh,
right through the hands.
I know Philly fans are. he's trending every Sunday. It seems like every time we type in his name.
Is that the DK draft?
That's the Justin.
No, Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
right after. Right, he got drafted right before Jefferson. Crazy. So that last play and then he dropped a big time pass on the last play, and then another pass where the football hit him in his helmet. It's just lack of focus. That's really all I could say. Yeah, he has to get right, man. He has to really turn things around because it's looking pretty ugly, and Philly fans will definitely let you know about it. So hopefully he's not on any social medias at this point, and he's just grinding. But Matt, what's your thoughts on this game?
Man, my thoughts on this game is just a couple of two simple words: missed opportunity. Like CJ mentioned, if Philadelphia wanted a slim chance of making the playoffs, they had to win this game. And, they just simply blew it. And, I saw this one meme. I thought it was hilarious. Jalen Reagor made a tweet of 29 probes 11, and then some lady threw out a meme where it's like Jalen Reagor 29 drops in 11 weeks, kind of like mocking the verse. I thought it was hilarious when I saw it. But, it's one of those to where that's just, if you're Jalen Hurts, you can't have that bad of a performance against the Giants, especially with how pathetic the Giants have been all season long. And that's just unacceptable. You can't.
I will say their defense is mid. So their defense isn't that bad. It's still a pathetic performance, but their defense isn't as bad as everybody thinks. But you're right, Matt. Awful. Continue. Sorry.
It's classified as mid dirt. There's like three. There's like, I would honestly say maybe 2 to 3 tiers of dirt. There's dirt. There's mid dirt, and then there's dirt. Like their defense is mid dirt stage, and this is just a game to where this blows their chances of making the playoffs. Their chances to make the playoffs are finished. Like, yeah, they're 5-7, and the NFC, you got a chance at a 7 seed, but you could pretty much write Philly off as dead. Because you got the Jets, then you got the bye week, you got Taylor Heineke 2 times in 3 weeks, you got the Giants one more time, and then Dallas. You're pretty much gonna.
Listen,
yeah, that last stretch for that NFC East, that's going to be very interesting.
Nah, if you can't beat the Giants, then you're get out of here. Like,
all right, but here's my thing. They're beating the Jets. Everybody beats the Jets.
Hey, the Jets got 3 wins: 1 against the Titans, 1 against the Bengals.
Well, you know what?
I mean,
this broken clock was right twice a day instead of once. But let's see. I think they split Washington. If anything, they'll beat the Giants.
They're losing both games to Washington. No. I mean, you saw how Taylor Heineke played against the Dead Hawks. They're not the Seahawks; they're the Dead Hawks because their season's over.
That you're not wrong about either. I don't know. I think they split Washington, beat the Jets, beat the Giants. So what is that?
I mean, you're looking at a team that'll win 7 to 8 games.
Hey, but the way Dallas is playing right now, how many games they winning? This could come down to that last. Oh God, I hope the Eagles sweep the rest of the season.
Okay. Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. If the Eagles do win out, it'll be possibly the greatest thing I've seen out of Philadelphia since they won the Super Bowl 52. Because I got no hope for Philadelphia. I think you got to pack it up and just say Cancun on 3. But that's one of those to where it's the NFL. It's any given Sunday, and if you're the Eagles, it's a tough loss, but you got the Jets next week, and then your bye week. So hopefully you bounce back and go from there. And then you're looking from the Giants side of things. Yeah, you may be 4-7, but a win's a win. You got to look at it and it's like, you know what? Let's just build towards, kind of like we were last year. Last year we were dead in the water, and then we finished on a hot streak, finished 6-10, and now you look at the Giants this year, like, we may be 4-7, we may be out of the playoff hunt, but you know what? Let's just finish strong, and let's go into the next season on the bright side. Now, I can't wait to see Mike Glennon season, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
Getting to see that big old egg bald head out on the field.
Yeah, I don't know how strong they're gonna finish from Mike Glennon.
God, could you imagine if Mike Glennon leads the Giants to 6 consecutive wins? It won't happen, but could you imagine?
Got the longest neck out there.
Yeah, call him Draft Glennon.
Draft Glennon. I'm crying.
But yeah, just overall, it's a bad loss by the Eagles. Decent, ugly win by the Giants.
Yeah, I don't got nothing.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, man. All right. Again, just kind of the same thing. It's so unfortunate these New York teams are just
terrible. You know that they got 4 through 10 or 4 through 8 draft picks right now?
I think this was like the first time in like 5-6 years where they both won on the same weekend.
Oh no, they did it earlier this year too.
Oh, did it earlier this year? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. I do remember.
Miracles happen.
Good for them. Good for those guys. Yeah, Jets, Texans. Not really. Listen, I didn't really watch it. It was on CBS.
No, nobody should watch it. So
yeah, nobody watched it, and I had a big brain move, so I put the Colorcast in my AirPods. So CJ, you could unmute yourself on Colorcast. I think we'll be in good hands.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm not
look
muted,
at us,
bro.
Professionals. Well, no, you're not muted.
Yeah, I'm not muted. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay. On mine it shows you muted, but
see, I use the AirPods for the StreamYard, and see that is a big brain move, though. I will say, not gonna lie.
I just now thought of it on the fly, so just the quick thinking.
Nobody watched this game. Nobody.
The one highlight I will say, the Jets
Zach
had
Wilson's
the
interception.
Yeah, pretty much. The Jets had the butt fumble in 2012, and now they got the back interception.
Back interception.
I mean, here's what I will say. I understand you have rookie mistakes, but that's like a come on man moment. You can't be running 5 to 10 yards down the field and then be like, oh yeah, let me just flip it to my running back. Like, what are you doing? Like that makes no sense. Like that's just like that. That's almost like in Madden when you accidentally tap the lateral button instead of slide.
I'm weak. I have been there.
I have definitely been there, man.
like you go to hit the slide, and like, oh no, I lateraled.
And then all of a sudden scramble for the ball. And it's tough out here.
I can't even lie. Online franchise, it was tough for the kid. Oh man. All right, but let's go to actually a good game.
Game of the week.
Game of the week? Yeah, for sure, definitely. We got Buccaneers, Colts. Colts really started hitting off cylinders early, offensively. Carson Wentz was dealing in the first half. It's looking like Wentz VP, as my guy Connie would call it. Winston-Avalis. Yeah, you know, all the Wentz nicknames. He was definitely throwing dimes out there in the first half. Second half, not so much. And
tough out here.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. And the Bucs were able to come back, start to run the football, get physical. Couple turnovers, strip sack by Shaq Barrett. Interception, great play by Antoine Winfield Jr. Big time play. Just he mossed Michael Pittman. It should be the other way around. And
yeah.
And literally, he's like half his size. So it was crazy. It was a big play by Antoine Winfield Jr. And the Bucs were able to, get this W. I thought it was looking ugly. It was looking ugly. Colts came back though. They did battle back. They started to run the football and give it to JT, and they were able to tie it up. And it was like 120 something left. Brady had the ball and had a couple dink and dunks here and there, and then gave it to Lenny, and Lenny closed the show. Really good game, like Connie alluded to. Definitely one of the best games. Well, definitely the best game of the week for sure. Connie, what was your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, let me tell you something. It was a perfect Sunday for the kid, right? Cam sucked. Brady was good. Wentz was good. Lamar sucked. Patriots won. It was literally the perfect Sunday for me. But when it comes to this game, it was the Colts just got too fancy, I know that Wentz had the 3 touchdowns in the first half, which is like the first time he's done it since I think like the 2017 season. So definitely was playing well. But like if you look at the game, they were passing the ball good and everything like that. But it was also because they were still a threat of running the ball. The Bucs had like 6 people on the line every play. So, those over-the-top passes could work. You saw Wentz hit, I can't remember his name, but it was like a 67-yard touchdown pass. So
I forgot his name.
I gotta find it because it's gonna annoy me now. I gotta give some respect to the kid. I mean, he's out here catching bombs from whence I can't even remember the poor man's name. Let's see here. Let's go to stats. We're gonna go over to Colts. Doolin, Ashton Doolin, 1 catch, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Now that's a day at the office right there. But yeah, Wentz was 27 to 44, 306, 3 touchdowns. But like I said, they got fancy in the second half. They started passing a lot, and this team is built on running the ball. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is coming off of 8 straight weeks with a rushing touchdown, over 100 yards rushing, and he decided to pass the ball. And listen, I understand it too because, this was a strength-on-strength type of game. Colts run the ball. Bucks have the number 1 rush defense, and it's not even close. And they did what they had to do. Jonathan Taylor, like I said, 16 for 83, didn't get that 100-yard rushing mark. So they break that streak at 8. But, yeah, it was just the turnovers in the second half that killed the Colts because I really thought the game was over for a quick second. That fourth and 2 call, but they were at like the 4th-yard line by the Colts going into halftime. They were up by 3 at that point, and I thought they were kind of crazy. In fact, I left my room, had the game still on, obviously, but I left my room. I was like, oh, they're about to just kick a field goal, whatever. I can go, go grab a bottle of water. I come back, and I was talking to my mom, and all I hear is like people going crazy. I was like, what the hell happened? I was like, maybe the Bucks blocked it or something, but why would they be going crazy in Indy? And I come back, and they scored a touchdown. I was like, what the hell happened? And then I saw the replay. So a gutsy move out of them, and I thought that, that was kind of going to seal it almost. But Bucks come out in the second half. The Colts are driving, and they got that strip sack. And then, they get the interception where Winfield mosses him, like you said. And then the muffed punt. And even with the muffed punt, they hold him to a field goal there. So there were 17 unanswered points by the Bucks, but they still weren't down too bad there. And then, like you said, the end of the game, it's vintage Brady, man. There's time left. It's 31-31. There's 3 minutes. There's 3 minutes, and I guess the drive was 3 minutes and 9 seconds, right? So they give the Bucks too much time. They go down. I'm thinking Lenny's going to end up sliding, kick a field goal, just end the game, but he runs it in. And the craziest part is the Colts damn near returned the kickoff for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Bro, that guy comes from across the field. I believe he was literally the furthest player from the ball. Takes the perfect angle, gets a hand on the shoulder pad, drags him out of bounds. But if it isn't for that,
Mike Edwards.
Yeah, we're going into overtime. And then, weird play calling on the Colts part, I think. Greg Olsen said on the broadcast as well, like, why are they throwing to the boundaries when you know that the Bucks are going to, look at the boundaries? Because they still had a timeout left. So they could have, targeted the middle of the field, got closer for the Hail Mary eventually. But they go for the sideline. They don't get anything there. And then Wentz, throws one up as a Hail Mary. Doesn't even reach the end zone, first of all. And second of all, it ends up getting picked. I barely count that as an interception. It's a Hail Mary. But crazy game. And a good win for the Bucks, man, because they're not the same team on the road. And this is a very losable game. The Colts have been playing well, obviously, as we all know. And then we got Giants taking the wild card. Now without your boy Danny Dimes, you got Mike Glennon faith, huh?
Yeah, Sean, it's not happening, my guy. Sorry, man. It's not happening, Brody.
A great game. An absolutely great game.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I mean, this was, you could classify it, I honestly would say, on 3 levels. You could say playoff Lenny showed up, got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns. You could classify
it. Nickname for the kid too.
Yeah, I saw that with him and Gronk.
Gronk's an idiot, a literal idiot, and I love it so much.
Yeah, he's a clown, man. He's
stitches. Yeah, and then you classify it as Frank Reich going full Doug Peterson mode. Like, why is Wentz throwing 40+ times when your guy Jonathan Taylor had 5 rushing touchdowns? Like, what are you doing? Why would you go away? Like Anthony mentioned, why would you go away from the stuff that you did successfully in the first half? It made no sense. And then just overall, like you said, vintage Brady. Like I knew when the game was tied and Brady had the ball, it was actually he had like 3 minutes left. Like I knew, I'm just like, yeah, Colts are gonna lose this game. Like you mean to tell me you give Brady the ball with 3 minutes left and then a tie game, it's over. It's a wrap. Like 9 times out of 10. And it was. Now I will say, like you mentioned, Connie, that kickoff return was epic that the Colts did. Like if he would have ran it back, that would have been like all over Sports Center, all over the sports talk shows, everything. But you know what? And you also got to look at the Bucs. That's a huge win for Tampa because now it keeps them still in the running for the 1 seed. The Bucs still have a chance at that number 1 seed. Granted, it's slim, but you have to look at it. You're only a game behind. You're only a game behind the Cardinals. And a game and a half behind the Cardinals, and then a game behind the Packers. So it's like you're right there. You're right in the thick of the race for the 1 seed, and it's because you got that big win against the Colts. And then you just look at it from the Colts side of things. That's a back-breaking loss. Like the Colts, they've had some heartbreaking losses this year, whether that's week 1 against the Rams when Carson Wentz goes down and then Jacob Eason throws a pick. You then have the next week, you lose a heartbreaker to the Seattle Seahawks. You then blow the lead against the Baltimore Ravens, and now this one. So I mean, you look at the Colts; they could easily be 10-2, but instead they're 6-6 because they can't win the close games. And in the NFL, that's what separates the great teams from the bad teams. The bad teams lose the close games. Example: Colts, and then the Chargers with Anthony Lynn. And then the great teams like the Buccaneers, like the Green Bay Packers, they find a way to win games, whether they're down on their key guys or down in the game. And even the New England Patriots with Mac Jones, they find ways to win. And that's what the Buccaneers did, and the Colts couldn't get the job done.
Yes, sir.
Let me move that up for you.
Appreciate you, man.
Sometimes.
All right, and we got the Thanksgiving games.
Oh, yeah.
Man, for the Thanksgiving games, I'm going to be honest, you can only talk about one. The other two were just straight ass.
Garbage.
Like
Garbage.
as terrible as green bean casserole on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, bro.
Disgusting.
See, nobody
wants to eat that. Like
here's my thing.
It's terrible.
I saw a pic on Twitter on Thanksgiving that was like, one of these got to go. And it was like the stuffing and the turkey and all the pies and all this. And then one of them was green bean casserole. And I was like, bro, you're sitting here telling me that people would pick anything other than that. Like you're sitting here and telling me people actually eat that. There's no way.
Like if you had to classify the Thanksgiving foods, the Bills and the Saints, Bills and Saints is turkey because it was just straight up dry. The only good thing was the Cowboys Raiders, and you could
Cowboys
say
Raiders was mashed potatoes.
It's mashed potatoes. It could be stuffing. It could be gravy. All good things on Thanksgiving. And then you got the Bears and the Lions, straight green bean casserole.
Yeah.
I mean, what is? And you just got to feel for the Lions, man. It's there, and then they just choke. Like, how do you let an 8.5-minute drive to end the game on a field goal? How? It's vintage Lions.
I was really rooting for them, man, because I'm not gonna lie, I was falling asleep. I had the itis. Had some nice Thanksgiving
but
food.
CJ, it was a noon game. It was a noon game. How are your eyes falling asleep on a noon game?
What the hell you eat?
Fam chefed it up early, man. Had a nice little lunch. You feel me? For the dinner, and I was watching the game. Like, Lions, they could come back. Goff, doing all right. Better than what we've seen from years past, and then it's just first down for third and 8, get the first down. 3rd and 7, first down. I'm like, all right, I see how this is gonna go. Then he kicks the field goal. I'm like, that's tough. I was like, let me stay up and watch this, and I should have just fell asleep, bro. It was sad.
Yeah,
bro, and one different on Thanksgiving.
Bro.
I also got to say this one thing.
Slum
the
boys.
Lions are cursed because they haven't paid Calvin Johnson. Pay Calvin Johnson his remaining $1.5 million. Just pay whatever money is left on his contract, and then the Ford family just sell the team. It's like James Dolan with the Knicks before Thibodeau showed up. There's a black cat in Detroit, and it's been looming for 50 plus years.
Yeah, shout out James Dolan. Went to my college.
Hey, shout out James Dolan. He's redeemed himself. Instead of him being chanted "sell the team," it's quieter now.
It's big.
He's still a weird guy. But I guess shut up.
Connie just said it's Bing Bong now.
Side talk NYC, baby. We on the rise,
dude. CJ introduced me to that. Funniest thing I have ever seen.
No, listen.
The main highlight is Spider Cuz. That's
Spider Cuz is a legend. He is a legend indeed.
Pour one out for Uncle Ben on these Thanksgiving games.
Definitely. All right. Yeah, exactly. These Thanksgiving games were.
Well, no, you know what? I will say, for the one good game that I feel like we should talk about is the Cowboys-Raiders game. Might I say that it has to be the most egotistical ref ball I have ever seen. I've never seen both teams get 10-plus penalties for 100-plus yards, and Anthony Brown just signed himself up for a receiver. 4 PIs for 91 yards. Atta baby. Way to help out the Vegas Raiders.
That was America's MVP right there because he helped the Cowboys.
You got that. You got that right. And what sucks, what makes me so disappointed in the Eagles, Connie, is if the Eagles would have beat the Giants, they would have been 6-6, and the Cowboys would have been 7-4, and they would have been right there. But instead, the Eagles had to shit the bed.
A little bit of a meltdown there.
Yeah, they folded. They folded big time. Yeah, let's just get it back into this game.
They folded like a folding chair after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, facts. Let's get into the game a little bit. You guys kind of alluded to most of it with the penalties. Cowboys, they struggled early and then they were able to score late and kind of.
And we even had our Deshaun Jackson 1 catch for 50+ yards touchdown.
Yeah, he's good for that. He's good for one of those.
That game had it all.
Yeah, the game had it all. Exactly. Connie, what was your thoughts? How do you see the Cowboys right now? I know they didn't have CeeDee Lamb. I know they didn't have Cooper. Ezekiel Elliott is a little banged up as well. And then where do you see the Raiders? I mean, we talked about the Raiders potentially going the other way. The Broncos, Raiders, and the Chargers, they're in the same division, and they're the most up and down teams we've seen.
Connie was smiling like Stephen A. Smith after the Cowboys lost. You already know Connie was smoking on that Cowboys pack, saying, checking on them boys, how we doing?
Every week. Listen, I said earlier, last week that I'm still not sold on the Cowboys because, hey, listen, they prove it every year. What can go wrong will go wrong, and it's going wrong. They lose this game. Listen, I know, I understand. They didn't have Amari and CD.
They even won't have Amari on Thursday against the Saints. From what I've heard, McCarthy said if Cooper doesn't practice on Wednesday, he won't play on Thursday.
Perry with the Connie biggest hater to ever hate. Listen, maybe your team should not give me something to hate, like you fans. Anyway,
maybe
with that being said, with that being said, listen, where's the mythical Dak Prescott? All I got to hear all the time is that they have so much on offense. It's not Amari and CD or blah blah blah, but we also have Cedric and we got this. We got Zeke and Tony Pollard, and we got Dalton Schultz, and we got Micah Parsons out here on defense and Trey Diggs and blah blah blah. They could be undefeated and you'd hate somehow. No, I couldn't hate at that point until they lost in the first round of the playoffs like they always do. But this is standalone game on Thanksgiving, time to prove yourself. And they lost again, typical
for the third consecutive year.
Hey, I didn't even know that. Did you see Dak's game? Last game he put up a crazy good game, and defense and the refs is what decided the game, not Dak. Listen, I'm sick of the refs deciding the game. Okay, ready? Listen, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. What would you want them to do? Not call the plays against whatever his name was?
Anthony Brown.
Yeah, Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
First of all, I can't believe you shared your name with me because I could never do that. I was a professional on the field.
No, you know what? That's why the Cowboys lost, because they had an Anthony out there wreaking havoc for the Cowboys, self-inflicting.
Dak did solid in the second half, but that throw to I think Noah Brown definitely wants that one back, because that could have kept the drive going and they could potentially won the game. But it was definitely a low pass. Wasn't able to get it done, man. That was tough.
Yeah, they got the overtime kickoff. I thought they were going to go and win.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
A nice little penalty. 32 of 47, 375, 2 touchdowns for Dak, and he did what he could. Anthony Brown was disgraceful, and the refs were on one for both teams. Listen, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty, and that's the thing. This game was filled with them, but I didn't really see that many that I was like, how do you call that? So this was just bad football by both of these teams. Like, all those Anthony Brown penalties were penalties. The holdings were holdings. Like, I didn't see, and I'm talking about both sides here too, not just the Cowboys. So, like, listen, it was a bad played game by both teams. It just saying it's not on Dak, which you said, hence my explanation. Listen, if Dak is so elite, he should have drove them down the field, scored. We just saw Aaron Rodgers win without half their team. Dak's missing 2 wide receivers,
twice.
Two wide receivers, and he can't win a game against the Raiders, who lost like what? Was it 2 or 3 games in a row? They were terrible.
They were 5-2, and they were on a 3-game losing streak.
All right, exactly. Can't beat the Raiders. Despicable. Dak, empty calories. And all I'm saying is the Cowboys undefeated when Dak throws less than like 30 times or something like that. So obviously the team is not very good when he has to throw. And when you're a quarterback, that's kind of important, by the way.
One thing I also, sorry to interrupt, one thing I will highlight also about this game is you also got to give props to Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr had two drives that pretty much put the Raiders in a good position. When it was tied at 30-all, he led a drive to set up Daniel Carlson for 56 yards, and then he goes into overtime and he drives them down the field. Now we all can thank Anthony Brown for having that big PI call, but you also have to give Derek Carr credit. Like, he set the Raiders up to have a chance to win this game. And you also have to look at the Raiders with this win. It still keeps them in the playoff hunt. I mean, the AFC is wide open as a whole. And I mean, you look at, if somehow, some way the Raiders, through all of their drama with the Ruggs situation, with the Gruden situation, if they could find a way to sneak into the playoffs somehow, some way, I think you could classify this Raiders season as a success.
Oh, for sure. Fair. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Well,
all right. Yeah. That wraps up the Week 12 games.
Go over here and get up to the Week 13, make our predictions, and then we can get on out of here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody listening over at Colorcast, appreciate you guys for tuning in.
Look at that. We even start the week with the Cowgirls. How interesting.
Thursday night football. All right, let's get to it. Cowboys Saints. Connie, who you rolling with?
Listen, I know I just crapped on, but I'll go with the Cowboys because, listen, if they lose to the Saints, then we got bigger issues because the Saints are terrible right now.
Matt, who you going with? Who you got?
I'm going with them boys. I got the Dallas Cowboys. This is a must win for Dallas. They need to win this game. If they want any shot at the 1 seed, which I mean it's pretty much slim. I mean, slim shady. You got no shot at the 1 seed. But if you want a chance, this is your game to take. And even if you want an opportunity at a 3rd seed, like if you could find a way to one up Tampa Bay and get that 3rd seed, this is a game that you have to win. Give me the Cowboys. I mean, you look at the Saints, they've pretty much been in collapse mode since Jameis Winston went down. And I was very saddened because New Orleans looked like a playoff team with Winston, but ever since he went out, you had Trevor Siemian. They haven't won a game since Halloween. I think that's going to continue. And I think the boys are going to find a way to get it done and, yeah, go to 8-4.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cowboys as well for all the reasons you guys mentioned. I don't see the Saints putting up any offense for them to try to make it a fight. We got the Giants and the Dolphins. I got Miami, 5 in a row.
You know, I picked the Giants on Gen Z, but that was before Danny Dimes went out. So now I'll go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, for me, it's easy as well. Give me the Dolphins. This always seems like what Flores does. I mean, even in his first year, the Dolphins were classified as the worst team in history. They were playing like some bums, and then they turned it around, won like 5 of the last 9 games, and went 6-10 his first year. This is going to be the same old story. They start off 1-7. And they're just going to find a way to rally off like maybe 6 wins in the last 9 or so weeks and finish with 7 wins. The Miami Dolphins way, tank the Eagles pick instead of it being a top 10, top 5 pick, make it a mid-round pick because, Philly moment.
All right. We got the Colts and the Texans. Yeah, man, I got Indianapolis.
Listen, nobody has to talk about that one.
Sweet. Yeah. Vikings, Lions. That's a sweep for me.
Same Vikings.
That's also sweet.
Oh no. You know what? Here's what I will say. If the Vikings lose this game, I don't want to hear, Corey, another word about Kirk Cousins. Not a word. I don't want to hear any. I don't want to hear any Kirk Cousins if they lose to Detroit.
Anyway. Shouldn't even talk about
it. If they lose this game, that would be sad.
That's despicable.
I don't see it happening. Even without Dalvin Cook, I don't see it happening.
I think these next 2 games are a sweep too.
Yeah.
Bird game.
Eagles. I mean,
nah.
You would hope so.
I can't lose.
You would hope so.
If you're the Eagles, you better beat the Jets.
You would hope so.
Here's where I will say. I have my co-host Ben Hoyt with Primetime with Hoyt and Wise Cheese. If they lose to the Jets, you best believe I'm clowning this boy because you lose to the Giants and the Jets. I'm smoking on that bird pack.
Soaking on that bird pack. All right. That Philly pack.
I'm going bing bong on it. Just gonna slam it.
I'm crying. All right, we got Cardinals, Bears. Justin Fields should be back for this one, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Kyler coming back as well. I got Arizona. We all got Arizona.
Cardinals.
Chargers, Bengals.
If the Cardinals do lose, Green Bay has a 1 seed, so maybe.
That's true. Chargers and the Bengals. All right, now we're starting to get this. This is a comp game, definitely. Matt, who you got?
Give me Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Chargers do what the Chargers always do. They collapse. They crumble like the Berlin Wall. They're going to crumble against the Cincinnati Bengals. And a lot of people are sleeping on the Bengals. The Bengals might win the AFC North. They already beat the Ravens once already this year. And with Lamar Jackson playing like how he was in the toilet when they played the Browns last year, it's at home for the Bengals. I'm going with Cincy. I trust the Bengals more than I do the Chargers at the moment. And, that Burrow to Chase connection, just like at LSU, it's going to stay strong. Bengals go to 8-4.
Connie, who you rolling with?
I picked them yesterday on Gen Z, so I'm picking them again. Give me the Chargers, baby.
Ooh, okay.
Nice little upset.
Okay. I got the Bengals. I think they continue to run the football. They're at home, like Matt said. They need to win this game. For sure. Like if they want to win the division and or the playoff or get to the playoffs, this is a key win.
We got
next 2 are sweeps.
Over on the Colorcast, we got Chi-Town chiming in. He's got the Bengals against the Chargers.
All right, yeah.
I'm all alone. I'm on an island over here.
These next 2 games, Buccaneers, Falcons, and you got the Jaguars and the Rams. This is a sweep for this. Should be a sweep for all of us. Yeah.
Bucks, Rams. No. Here's what I will say: if the Rams lose to the Jags, I don't want to hear anything about Matthew Stafford. You better call them Pat Stafford the rest of the season because if you lose to the Jaguars, I'm sorry, you got a Detroit curse coming your way.
Yeah, I would be sad, but I just
there's no way.
I just don't see it.
There's no way, but it is any given Sunday. If the Jazz can beat the Bills.
Yeah, yeah. But
listen, this is the NFL,
I'd be shocked.
I guess.
I'd be shocked if they lose their 4th game in a row to the Jags.
If they lose to the Jags, you can classify the Rams as the curse of Odell.
You know what? Not wrong.
I mean, everybody else is doing it at this point. I mean, I guess.
I threw out a message to CJ. I was telling I'm smoking on that OBJ pack when the pack beat the Rams. You know, just
Matt's smoking on all the packs, bro. Crazy.
Hey, I went up to CJ and I was telling OBJ, I'm like, yo, OBJ, you could have had Rodgers. Instead, you stuck with bum ass Pat Stafford.
I still think the greatest story that came out of this week was Devontae Adams telling Odell that he wouldn't give him his jersey and to go get Cooper Kupp's because that's who he wanted to play with.
That's crazy. Another thing that I'll throw out there is let's just say that Adams owns Ramsey. Rodgers targeted Ramsey 7 times, 7 for 7, and also Aaron Rodgers made Ramsey his bitch when he ran it in on a broken toe and freaking slung his ass all the way to the sideline. He was laying there. So Jalen, your dog water.
Aaron Rodgers got that Joe Rogan medication, so you know what I mean. His toe's probably already feeling better. You feel me?
Yeah, he's feeling good, and we on a bye week too, so we thriving.
Packers fans enjoy this year because Rodgers and Adams is bye-bye after this year. Thank Jesus. Fuck Ramsey, by the way. I hate the Packers. I may hate the Packers, but F Ramsey, hey. Chi-Town Sports popping up.
Hey, Chi-Town Sports it's not our fault that Rodgers is part owner of your team. It's not my fault that Rodgers owns you.
No, listen, out here making enemies on Colorcast. Crazy.
Word. All right, we got another close game. I think it's gonna be a close game. We got Washington football team and the Las Vegas Raiders. Connie, who you got?
Man, I'm gonna go with the Raiders only because the game is at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connie, who you got? Matt, who you got?
Agree with Connie as well. This one's the Raiders. The Raiders are the semi better built team, and it's in Vegas to where their stadiums don't leak unlike FedEx Field.
Give me Washington. Give me Washington. Okay. I feel like they have the formula.
Leaking stadiums for the win.
Leaking stadiums for the well. This one's on the road, so I don't think there's any leaking at the Raiders stadium, but. They got the
you're all alone in this one. You're all alone, even on the Colorcast. Perry got the Raiders. Chi-Town got the Raiders. You're alone.
Oh yeah, I feel like they got the formula to win on the road. They run the football, keep the ball away from offenses, and they could get that done. Ravens Steelers, man, this used to be such a classic game. Ed Reed, Palomalu, who was the better safety back in the day? Ray Lewis, Hines Ward. Now it's just.
And now we're stuck with the running back versus old man on his last legs.
Old Yeller.
The running back to Old Yeller. That being said, who you got? Matt, who you got?
Give me the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I really want Alex's Pittsburgh Steelers to succeed. You know, Anthony Conover's once guy who he always asked for his stimmy a lot, but
stimmy, Alex.
Wow.
You know, but the Ravens are just a better built team. I think they're going to bounce back, especially from their putrid performance against the Browns, who literally played like Brown. You know, that whole team was just bad. It was ugly, but I think the Ravens bounce back. I think the Ravens are looking at their daddy, the Patriots, and they're coming up right behind them, and they're just like, "Yo, we can't," because the Patriots are like Michael Myers. They're not dead. You think they're dead, but they're not. And the Ravens are going to look at that game and be like, "We need this win. We have to get the 1 seed." They're going to dog whop the Steelers. Ben is done. Ben, retire. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer already. You got 2 rings. You're gonna get your number retired in Pittsburgh. Just retire, man. I'd rather see Mason Rudolph and Dewey Haskins than Ben Roethlisberger because it's ugly. It's ugly to see because Roethlisberger's looking like Peyton Manning out there on his last year, but Peyton Manning had a historic defense, and the Steelers got a not a steel curtain, but a steel shower curtain because that thing's always wide open.
Steel shower, yeah, this guy.
More like flannel these days.
This guy's on a roll. Connie, you made a pick?
No, I didn't. Okay. But I'll go with the Ravens.
Go with the Ravens. We got Chi-Town Sports in the Colorcast chat. He said this game was exciting. Now it's a yawn fest, but I'm surprisingly taking Steelers. Loves the Mike Myers reference from Matt. I think this game is going to be closer because the way the Steelers got rocked last week against Cincinnati, I feel like they got to have some type of pride at home. Still, again, this used to be like a mini Super Bowl every single time they played back in the day. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be hopefully the defense. I think that defense shows up. Pittsburgh's defense shows up next Sunday. They have to. But I'm rolling with the Ravens in this one.
Still taking them out of my fantasy lineup.
It's fair. That's fair. All right, we got an NFC West showdown between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Both teams trending in different directions. Matt, who you got?
Give me the 49ers. The Seahawks are, like I said earlier, the dead Hawks. They're dead. Their season's over. Rebuild needs to begin. And, hey, all I got to say is for the Seahawks, you shouldn't have traded for Blitzboy. That Blitzboy trade bit them real good. And you don't got your first-round pick, and you're 3-8. It's terrible. And one thing I will say, I really thought Russell Wilson was going to come back and do well. And I need to pull this message because I sent this to CJ earlier, and I thought it was the best message that I sent because I basically said to CJ, I gotta find it. So I basically threw out to Russell Wilson. I kind of roasted him a little bit. I have to find it. I really do.
You go searching, Matt. You go searching.
Right, you go searching. Connie, who you got?
I think on Gen Z, I said that they're going to go on a 7-game win streak. So
the 49ers?
No, the Seahawks. See, that's where I messed up. Because they already lost, so they can't go on a 7-game win streak. So I'm going to stick with them, though, and go with the Seahawks. It's at home, 12th man. Maybe Russ actually, remembers that DK's on the team, and they can pull it out.
Okay, I found it. So I basically said, let Russ cook. I said, Russ is looking like a horrible chef on Hell's Kitchen. Like they say, let Russ cook, and he's cooking up some apple turnovers instead of touchdowns. Like they say. I mean, I also want to say, like, for Russ, you should have came back this year. You should have known when your team was 3-6. I think it's worth it if I just sit out the rest of the season. Granted, you don't have your first round pick, and that's pretty much the only reason why Russ even played was because the Seahawks are like, yo, we traded for Blitzboy and it ain't working out. We can't give the Jets a top 10 draft pick, and you play Russ on a bad hand, and you're still gonna give the Jets a top 10 pick. Now, if you're the Jets, don't F this up.
He's cooking lean cuisines, Perry said.
Lean cuisine slaps. Like, lean cuisines are pretty good. You can't disrespect. That's a disrespect to lean cuisine. Nah, you know what? Russ is cooking up that green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. We got Perry taking the Seahawks. He said Seahawks pull upset. Watch out. Chi-Town Sports taking San Fran.
Let Russ microwave.
Russ don't look right throwing the ball. Definitely. He's been struggling. I'm going with the
Jimmy's gonna go off on the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 9. No Debo out 1 to 2 weeks.
True.
It's gonna be.
Don't matter.
I just don't trust.
I
just don't trust Seattle's offense. McGriddle Kittle. I just don't trust Seattle's offense consistently enough. I don't know if it's enough for me to pick them, man. I'm going with the Niners. We got an AFC West showdown.
You got a wild card in the top 3 pick. Green Gang forever.
Gang Green? Yo, Vic, I love you, bro, but come on, man.
Gang Green is also a disease, by the way. So yeah. That's probably the one that you're talking about being a Jets fan.
Yo, Vic, you're my guy, bro. But you know what time it is over there, man. At MetLife, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, more like meth life.
Yeah, it's tough over there. We got the Bronco
with this many metaphors in my life. Ever.
We got We got the Broncos and the Chiefs. Oh man.
Yeah. Wait, are you guys crying when I said the meth life?
No, I'm saying I never met someone with more metaphors than you in my entire life.
Oh man, this guy is a
really
poet
cool
out
crew
here.
in the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, I love the Powerpuff Girls. That was the show back in the day. Anyway, CJ, I'm gonna make it simple for you. I got the Chiefs before you ask me.
You got the Chiefs, all right. Matt, who you got?
Yeah, give me the Chiefs. Teddy Two Gloves is gonna blow. You know, he's gonna try to make another tackle like he did against the Eagles and whiff. And you know, the Chiefs are back.
AFC West showdown, gonna be closer. I'm going with Kansas City though. At Arrowhead, they're coming off a bye. They should respond and play well. And we got Monday Night Football.
The only important game.
That's right. Only important game for all of us.
Last but not least, Patriots Bills. I mean, come on. I'm going with the Pats.
Yeah, if anyone, the only outlier should be me, but I'm going. Give me the New England. Give me the New England Patriots. I like what I see out of Mac-10. You know, is Mac-10 season in full effect? They've won 6 straight.
Bills by 100. What are we talking about? The Cowboys in the playoffs right now? Like, what are we talking about?
Bills win. The Bills. The Bills are back to Rex Ryan form when they were just utter dog and were nothing.
I can't go that far.
Listen,
what do you mean? This team, CJ, this team lost to the Jaguars 9-6, 6-9, which is nice in every other form, but on a football field. Like, how do you lose? How do you lose to the Jaguars 6-9, which is nice, but it's unacceptable.
I feel you, but I feel like every team at this point in the league has had an ugly loss.
Very true.
So yes, granted, that's probably the ugliest loss. That's probably the ugliest loss of the season. But it's these last 4 games have been divisional games. These are going to be close games. I just don't see. I know Perry said Chiefs by blowout, but I think it's going to be close. And I feel like this AFC, it's in Buffalo. Those fans are going to go crazy. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game, but obviously I'm rolling with my guys.
And also what kind of persuaded me towards the Patriots was just how they thoroughly dominated Tennessee. Like, yeah, the game was close, and Connie, said like we up only 16 to like 13 on like the C squad with the face palm. Little did he know they would score 20 unanswered points, and Kendrick Bourne would look like a beast.
I'll tell you what's going to be
as long. Here's what I will say: as long as the Patriots follow the formula, Mac Jones doesn't turn the ball over, they'll get the dub.
And that's my point. Patriots win this game. Listen, I said that I haven't, they haven't given me a reason to pick against them, and until they do, I'll keep picking them. So, Pats, let's lock up the number 1 in the division right now. I'm a little scared that it's in Buffalo because, I did predict a split earlier in the year. But, and I'm all for Josh Allen for MVP because I still love Josh Allen. I don't know why I do. I think it's because he pisses other people off, so I have to like him. But Patriots defense playing crazy. Run game about to go crazy, just like the Colts did. So I'll take the Pats, baby.
We need that side talk NYC energy when the Pats get the W, just going wild.
I might have to.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. Because Bills Mafia on Twitter is lethal, son. So either way it goes, it's definitely gonna be interesting.
Tables.
It's gonna be intense for sure. We got Chi-Town Sports in the Colorcast chat. Pats D is scary. I'll say that, but Buffalo, I think he'll come out firing on all cylinders. Yeah, very possible. Very possible. That's why I feel like
shout out KG. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. But I do think it's going to be a good game. And that wraps up the week 13 picks.
That wraps up the show, CJ.
It does.
Wraps up the show. Matt, you only got you got 30 seconds left on the hot seat for Colorcast. So give all your plugs. Hurry. Go.
All right, plug. Twitter down below at Matt_Skura. Instagram at Matt_Skura20. Both links in the bio. I have my podcast, me or our great friend Caleb Connie called MCS Real Sports Podcast. Check it out. Available everywhere. Also, Sunday Night Football, primetime with Hoyt and Wise Cheese. Check it out. We stream Sunday Night Football. This is Matt Skura. As always, it's a pleasure to be on The Hard Count.
Look at that. And the
yes,
guy
sir.
Glad
to have you on, brother. Always, as always. Yes, sir.
With that, Matt, I think we
smoking out of the OBJ pack.
Matt, we're ending the show anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I guess we say goodbye in a way, you know, off the hot seat here. So what? I guess we say goodbye, Matt.
All right, as always, guys. You guys have a great rest of your week, and hey, let's hope for a Pats dub. And OBJ, where you at? Von Miller, where you at? Jalen Ramsey, where you at? Where you at? I mean, I thought you wanted to win, pal, but it looks like you're going home. You ain't gonna win the division. You're gonna get upset in the playoffs. You got Pat Stafford, whose record is 9-70 against teams above 500. I just want to know, OBJ, where you at? Why do you want to come to Green Bay? I know it snows. I know nobody wants to be in Green Bay, Wisconsin in the winter.
Nobody. People that live in Green Bay don't want to be there.
But hey, you know what? You could have had Rodgers, but you took Stafford. You could have had your homeboy Devontae Adams, but you took 2 girls, 1 Cooper Kupp.
All right. On that note,
yeah, I'll see. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's terrible. I'm out on that
Perry.
one.
Listen, Perry. I know we can't hear Matt. You know, things happen, but whatever. CJ, give your plugs for the people before we head on out.
Yes, sir. You can find me at the Guard Up Podcast, covering all basketball, all NBA, streaming on all platforms. Find me here, of course, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Hard Count with my guy Connie. CJames9_ on Twitter, at Guard Up Pod on IG. New podcast on the way, new episode on the way. Forever New England podcast, covering all things Patriots. Look out for that. Streaming on all platforms as well. And I might make a little return to Twitch soon.
Okay.
You're a playmaker?
Playmaker. So CJ versus the World on Twitch. Also CJ versus the World on Twitter for all updates when I go live.
Yes, sir. As for me, Monday, Generational Sports, 7 Eastern. You can check us out on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere. So make sure you check that out. Go subscribe to the podcast. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, Generational Sports. Make sure you follow us over here on the Colorcast as well, me and CJ. Obviously, we do this every Tuesday at 9 Eastern, breaking down all the games and then giving our picks for the next week as well. And then Thursdays, I do a show called Backstop Banter, where we're breaking down everything in the baseball world as well. Looks like we're going to have a lockout coming very soon. A lot of free agents have signed. So it has been a busy time over there in the baseball world. But with that being said, you can find me, Anthony_Conover on Twitch, Anthony Conover _ on Twitter. And that does it for us, folks. I thank everybody over there on the Colorcast side. I hope you all gave us a follow, nice little heart as well. We appreciate the interactions, and we will be back next week. So for the people, I bid a farewell.